Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise! I hope you guys are ready. It is playoff time.
After all the hours, the weeks, the months, it's finally time. The journey to the grand finals starts now.
I'm going all the way. I'm going, yeah, my blood is rebel. I'm going all the way. I'm going to another level.
This is about to get nasty.
They make it look easy. This guy is an absolute maniac.
Oh, that's carnage! And the rock stars of the Overwatch League continue to crank out power chords.
It's playing week, and there's one simple truth: win or go home.
I'm going all the way. I'm going, yeah, my blood is rebel.
You got a long road ahead to hold that trophy, to wear that crown, and that journey starts now. So come and get it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're live here from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. My name is Sumner, with me is Hex, and we just got to witness one of the longest, most powerful plays.
We just witnessed history. It was the first eight map series ever done in the Overwatch League. We thought we were going to come on air about 2 hours ago. This one looked all but done, then all of a sudden Shanghai comes roaring back, and London, one of the most anti-clutch teams we have in this league, at least this year, comes back and clutches it out at the last second, and still a chance for repeat champions in the Overwatch.
That's the only story that I've been going through. I don't care if London lose or win, you know, in terms of, I'm not a fan of the team, but I want that story, Hex. The defending champs in the finals, it would be amazing. They've made it through yet another step. They're in the top 8, Spitfire. Now we're going to find out who, between the Dynasty and the Charge, are going up there with them. Yeah,
this one should be really good. Of course, we got to see the Charge yesterday take down the Chengdu Hunters in pretty dominant fashion there. That one went 4-1. Dynasty versus Charge. Now, the Dynasty have looked a little bit shaky here and there. The Charge have been absolutely on fire, but we haven't seen the Dynasty in this meta, so that's the wild card.
That's the question, right? But we did get to see, Hex, you and I actually got to cast that game yesterday. It was a bit of a heartbreaker for us because we are fans of the Hunters.
I'm also a fan of the Charge, though.
But, yeah.
Look at this Doomfist. Eileen went absolutely dominant. And so one of the big storylines in Stage 4 for the Guangzhou Charge was that it was 2-2-2 lock, and Happy came in and he really crushed. But now the meta has shifted yet again, and so we saw very little of Happy yesterday. It was mostly Eileen and Nero, and Nero put on a performance of his own, but Eileen came up enormous on the Doomfist.
Yeah, you got to give it to Eileen, and it always felt like he was coming in clutch as well. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on him. You guys should too, because he feels like the playmaker for this team now. But their opponents, as far as Seoul are concerned, their Stage 4 schedule, fairly balanced actually. They ran into the Shock, you lost that one, okay, fair enough. But they won the games that they had to.
Yeah, and some questionable losses there as well, but it was really up and down, and you could never really get a good beat on this Seoul Dynasty team because they were running a whole lot of different players. I mean, we've seen this team swap out entire rosters going through, but they were also reverse swept by this Charge team a little over a month ago now. Well, that's not over a month. Anyway, 8-8, but they lost to this exact Charge team. But they do have a couple of guys in this 2-2-2 meta that could step up huge in Flutta and Fitz.
I mean, this is the Sigma meta as well. That's the thing when it comes to looking at these schedules, looking at even the Stage 4 schedule, massive changes going into the playoffs now. We have an additional hero. There have been many rule changes going through. Now ults cost more, so you're going to see fewer of them. These sorts of things are going to impact the players and the teams, and we're already seeing some teams, they're adapting to it. London seem a bit better, even if they struggle against Shanghai there. They do seem like this is a meta that shapes their way. But, you know, as far as Seoul are concerned, you got Flutta. What's the saying, Hex?
Flutta is meta. You got the Flutta deadlift as well. And I mean, I really think we're going to see a lot of mirror matches today. I mean, Charge came out yesterday, ran almost exclusively the Pharah and the Doomfist, and that's the style that they want to run. And when you're getting Nero's performance like you got, of course you stick with that. Eileen, then you got players like Hotba. Charge looked very, very good yesterday, but it's against a team that runs kind of wacky stuff, and I really don't know what Seoul's going to run, but I think they'll run the same things.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going in. We're starting to see the meta establish itself, but now let's go ahead and get our first team out onto the stage. Let's welcome the Guangzhou Charge. Nero leading the way. And man was doing fantastic work yesterday.
At this point, more accomplished than a Roman emperor based on his Stage 4 and his playoff performance thus far. Nero played great. Char and Shu in the support line. This is the lineup that I think you're going to see a lot of the day. Maybe on Assault, they'll bring in Happy again. It seemed like they had a plan to bring him in for at least the one map. It didn't quite work out for him. but this is the squad that runs the Pharah, runs the Fist, runs the Sigma, the Orisa, and then the support line makes some changes here and there, but Shu and Chara being all day.
I wonder, is the sign still in the state? We had a great sign all aboard the Shushu train yesterday. So sick because the man is also carrying in the support line. But now we're going to get their opponents out onto the stage. The other team in this duo, it is going to be the Seoul Dynasty.
Reppin' 82, I'm in Seoul City. Riding down the streets, got my homies with me. Pull up in a Rover, steady watching over.
Always a question with the Seoul Dynasty of which 6 they're going to start running out. Toby and Jaehong will lead the way on the support line. The DPS, Blitz, and Fleta. And I believe the tank line, Marvel and Michelle, will be their starting 6, if I'm reading all those names right. Pretty good at reading sometimes. Practice in the back of cereal boxes. And they get in here, and we'll see if it is going to be the meta that really finally suits Seoul. I do think it can be because of what we've seen with Doomfist and Pharah being so strong. We saw it a lot in the last game. We know this tank line can perform, and you've got legends in the back line like Jaehong and Toby.
That's been the story of this team since the beginning, even going back as far as last season. Beginning of last season, all eyes were on Seoul Dynasty. You are making a bit of a statement with a name like that. You're looking to establish a dynasty. You're looking to have that kind of performance, and they dropped off. Didn't even make playoffs last year. Here they are, end of this season. Now it's a chance for redemption. It's a chance to live up to their name. And you got players like Fleta who are going to be looking to accomplish that.
Fleta versus Nero, and let's look to the skies here because there is some really interesting stuff happening on Pharah this season. You've got the hero damage done. You've got a couple of number 1s there for both of these guys going forward. And I think we're going to be in for it, Top Gun style. Sidewinders going to Sidewinders. We'll see if it goes. Nero, I was talking to yesterday, he's like, sometimes Pharah is an interesting hero, much like Widow, where some days you have it and some days you don't. Yesterday, he felt like he had it, which is why he was forcing all the 1v1s against Jinmu and winning those 1v1s. Fleta is a dominant Pharah in his own right, so that is really the matchup to watch.
So let's take a look at our map set here presented by Toyota. You'll notice something different already if you've been following along and during the season. We've got more of them on your screen. This is a first to 4 in this series in the playoffs, or the play-ins right now. So Busan is going to be the map to kick things off. We're going to control.
Yeah, there were only 7 on that screen, and I thought we could go all the way to 8. If we get a draw, we might end up going to 8. Only 7 maps on that screen. We shall see what these teams want to run. Seoul Dynasty right now putting Fleta on the McCree, but they're still in spawn, so time to change here. But it would be an interesting blind pick because I think Guangzhou is going to run the Doomfist and Pharah as much as they can until it gets punished, if it gets punished. And you have to maybe do something to shut that down. Maybe Fleta's not going to start on the Pharah.
All this hype, all this build up, but you know, Hex doesn't really make me too sad because I'm always a fan of McCree. More McCree on the map. More clicking on heads, and Fleta is a god of the mechanical aim. He can just hit headshots all day long. So we'll see if this plays out, if he's going to be able to counter Nero up in the skies. Fitz looking to connect. Already Fist with base, but it's Eileen that gets picked by Fleta. So Seoul Dynasty draw first blood of the series.
That's why I think the McCree can be a very valuable pick here rather than running a Pharah of your own, because then you're able to at least slow down Eileen on the ground. I think what Chengdu ran into yesterday is they never really picked who they were going to try to stop, and it was either let's focus Nero or let's focus Eileen, and they never were able to stop either of them solely. But Seoul Dynasty believes in Fleta enough that they're going to we need a flashbang to deal with the Doomfist coming in, and we need just some pressure on the Pharah and the sky so that Nero can't just hold sway up top.
He's already near the Deadeye, 80% in counting right now for Fleta, so he's hitting shots, and that's going to be the main point for him. Get that Deadeye up, you can really control a lot of the airspace around you as well with all these barriers to hide behind. There's going to be a good bit of support here for McCree to set up his ultimate, something that isn't always the easiest thing to do.
Well, the Nano Doomfist comes in, and Eileen gets first blood and gets a second.
Oh. And this is just what we've been seeing all series long. Well, as far as the playoff presented by Xfinity have been concerned, we've been seeing a lot of Doomfist, we've been seeing a lot of multi-kills from Doomfist, and the explosive power, it's just that one-shot kill potential. You put it in the hands of a competent player, the Fist, it goes a far way.
And it's that snowball potential too. You see that when you do the damage, you get the shields. Sometimes the Doomfist gets up to like 350 HP, and it's ridiculous. It's almost impossible to kill him at that point in time. And what Guangzhou wants to do is kind of a magic trick. Look over here, focus on Eileen, and then here comes Doomfist.
Yes, you're exactly right. What is it, the ball in the cup, or, you know, misdirection, I think is what it's all about. Somebody get Penn Keller on the shovel, ask him to do something about it. But Eileen in it, looking for the pick, and he's gonna find it with the help of his team, Hotba. And Hoppa also stood out on the Sigma. There's so much to pick up here. Game to game, we're learning along with you guys to see who's adapting and who's really having to stand on performance. Hoppa is certainly showing up strong on that Sigma for his team.
Lutta got the flashbang, unable to finish that one off though, and Rio's gonna take down a couple. Fitz trying to equalize, but only a single trade. And now Guangzhou Charge will take the lead on the first point of Busan. What I've been so impressed with, especially as the playoffs have started, is how well teams are comboing Halt with things that aren't Hook. Because we saw Halt and Hook very much in Stage 4 with the Roadhog and the Orisa.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing Halts into Rockets, Halts into Doomfist, Halt into Accretion. There's so many things that these teams are comboing with.
Yeah. Just seeing all of that training come through from the season. And now, well, eyes on Hoppa. He's got the Flux ready to go, and we've seen him. He's known how to make the plays already. You can see that he's well adapted to this hero, but he's already lost Chara. That's really going to be impacting Nero, not so much Hoppa. Hoppa can still have a chance to turn things around, and we've got a Nero who's been boosted up, looking for targets. Oh, but it's the best game of hide and seek in Seoul Dynasty. Dodge him completely.
Well, I mean, the reason that you use the Nano there is to keep them back until Mercy comes back in. That's a nice sound barrier there.
Yeah, perfectly timed there from Toby. Thought that there'd be a little bit more follow-up, but it's not the case. They trade Fluxes, but it's Marvel gets focused down. Eileen finds the kill. Quick trade here. Rio and Nero going down for the charge, and it's going to be the Seoul Dynasty fighting back, and they are going to get the flip on the point.
Eileen gets a couple, but now Guangzhou have put themselves one fight away from taking this very first point. Sitting at 99%, they have Barrage. They will also have the Meteor Strike from the Doomfist. Not much else to work with, but Seoul had to commit a couple of support ultimates during the last brawl, so they don't have a ton to work with either.
It's true, it's true. Just got to keep an eye on Hoppa and his Fluxes. Just yesterday, we're still getting used to it. I mean, this is really the first time these past couple days that we're getting to see Sigma in action, in pro hands, on the main stage. And so, figuring out the timing for these ults, when's the best time to use Gravitic Flux? We're still trying to figure it out ourselves here.
What is it combo with really well?
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, as an opener like that, Hotba, he seems to also have a bit of a hair trigger when it comes to using the Flux. He likes to get in there. Nice attempt at a pick there by Fitz. Nearly catches him out, but Rio, he's barely surviving. The focus is coming in, and he's going aggro with it. Fitz looking for the follow-up. He's might be able to paste Rio.
He's got Rio, and we'll see if Guangzhou wants to commit. They cannot anymore. Michelle gets the follow-up kills on the cleanup. Now at 91%, the question is, can Guangzhou even get back here? Rio has to switch. Rio has to go to Hammond just to get back. A zoning Deadeye, perfect.
Yeah, and they just can't kill him fast enough before he finds a kill on Chara. Long distance shots coming in from Shu, but it's just not going to be enough. Still, not quite out of this yet. Never mind, Rio's dead. Nero's dead. He gets no value from the barrage. You were looking for a couple of kills there to turn it around. That could have been the hero play. Instead, Fitz kills himself. It's all over the place right now. Seoul Dynasty losing players. Jaehong got naded, but he barely survives.
As the Desperation Barrage was shut down immediately there, and now Guangzhou's just going to be trickling back in, looking for a miracle. But without Eileen to try to bring this back, it's going to be tough. They're getting kills here and there.
Yeah, the charge, they never give up. They never say die. Hotba with 2. This might be it. They can turn it around right here. The charge still in this fight. It's 99-99. Whoever wins this fight is going to take the first point of this series.
Eileen comes in huge and gets a couple of late kills.
Unbelievable.
It's Hotba who brought that back entirely. It's a small sample size, but coming into today, before the first match happened, Hoppa was absolutely the most deadly of the Sigmas that we've seen. He was outpacing everybody by about 2,000 something damage per 10 minutes. Everyone else sitting around 7,000. Hoppa was like at 9,200. So he's getting it done on that hero. And you saw his interview yesterday. He says, I'm a Sigma now. And he knows it, and he's grinding this guy. Hotba, you can't say enough about his versatility. Going back to last season, this season, what he has provided for the Guangzhou Charge in terms of being able to mix up compositions and the veteran leadership. I know that sounds odd, we're only in our second season, but he's one of the few guys returning to the Overwatch League from 2018. Hotba has been such a great addition for Guangzhou, and they pick it up in the end from some clutch Sigma play.
So going into the second point, you got to think King of the Hill here. When we look at these control maps, it's the first team to score 2 points to take the map. And right now, well, Eileen playing it safe, getting out of dodge. That's what you want to do here on the Fist. Don't need to overcommit, don't want to die. It's all about staying alive and keeping that one-shot kill potential up. Trading fist for fist, though. Balanced. All right, it's crazy.
No doubt of it. This is a Reaper map for sure, though. Both teams are going to flex onto the Reaper, so Nero gets the first blood on Michelle. Not over yet, though. Everyone on Seoul falling so low, and the Coalescence comes out quickly for Shu. Jaehong wasn't there quite yet. And that's often the difference in these fights, though, is who gets Coalescence first, because you can pop it and it does all that healing, all that damage, and it's just such a position winner.
Yeah, weird to see that Jaehong isn't able to get there fast enough. That ends up costing Seoul Dynasty the first control. Charge are going to be the ones in the lead now, and Dynasty are the ones on offense trying to break in. No challenge. Well, there it is, actually. The Coalescence, as soon as it comes online, no hesitation, and Fitz catches Shu out. That's a big kill to kick things off. The Moira Gone is going to severely impact the healing, and a great play from Fitz. Hunts down Hotba, and while the Charge won't have had control for long.
Should be about 30 by the time it ends. There's a nice little delay from Chara, but it will be Seoul picking it back up.
The Seoul fan hooting. Show them support.
What Coalescence is really interesting with the Doomfist because it does force people to back up. You're kind of drawing the line of where they're not going to be. And it pushes them in one direction, and then you see the Doomfist just capitalize on where he knows they're going to have to retreat to.
Oh, we had the Flux used as an opener again. Marvel's Flux just comes online. Meteor Strike coming in, and Marvel finds a kill on Nero, so man advantage now for the Seoul Dynasty, and there's Marvel getting the Flux into play. It sets it up for Chara, Hoppa, Eileen. Everybody going down on the side of the Charge. Seoul Dynasty are now in the lead on this second point, 35% and counting. And they've still got ults to use, Hex.
Yeah, decent economy still in place for them. Supercharger, Death Blossom, and Sound Barrier. The other side of things not looking too bad, though. Both support ultimates available. So now this one's about execution. You'd much rather be the team in control right now because you can just hold doorways. There's only two good ways to come in. I don't even know if you'd classify either of them as good.
Look at this flanking Reaper! So much damage on Rio, and it forces the Sound Barrier and the Coalescence from Shu. Nero, is he going to find an opportunity to go for the Blossom here? Nope. Well, Eileen's the one to take Flood out, so that's one Reaper dead. And the rest of them follow on the side of Seoul. The flip comes through for Charge. 68% for Seoul Dynasty on the board.
The flanking Reaper is a really interesting idea, but the problem is you have no damage up front to dissuade the rest of Guangzhou from coming in, so they won the fight at the door with 2 early kills. And then if the Reaper doesn't pick up those next couple of kills, you're in trouble, so the flank does get no value.
Bongos are in now. And now it's going to be the opening here for Seoul Dynasty. That additional damage making the difference. They're going to be able to beam down these players on the Charge. The Charge not really going to throw anything into this. You got Hotba, he's going to die with the Flux. Nero went down with the Blossom. They're going to hold on to those ults for the next fight. And Seoul Dynasty, man, very quick work here on their side. They're putting the pressure back on the Charge. That first point was not one-sided in any way.
So in our first match, we saw a combination of Gravitic Flux and the Doomfist Meteor Strike to time it perfectly. That's going to be online. That option's available for Guangzhou. I wonder if you could time it to throw people down into a Death Blossom.
Oh, that would be sick. Hold them up and then chuck him down. That would be so much burst. See if it happens. There's the Flux over the top. Catches 3, sets it up. Down they go, and Eileen's there for the cleanup. Works out perfectly. Once again, the communication here on the side of the Charge between Hoppa and Eileen, it's been stellar.
Eileen does die late, but it doesn't really matter. The Charge will take this one back. And that was a great angle to see that fight because you saw the Grav Flux and you saw the Doomfist come flying in, ready for them to be dropped down. Easy pickings to combo out everybody on the ground.
You're right. It's like you get a third-person camera every time he goes for that ult. You know,
That's
hey,
awesome.
Show us everything. Really sick to see. And Nero right now on the Reaper. Yep, aware of it. Sees Fleta coming through, puts the pressure on him immediately, wants to force it. Yep, gets that shade out. And now, well, Seoul Dynasty. So far, they haven't given up anybody, but at this point, they can't afford to.
Guangzhou's thrilled to let this fight take a long time to materialize. Now we're down to the last fight. Whoever wins this one will win this round of Busan and perhaps the map if we're Guangzhou.
Blossom thrown in now. Nero trying to make the play. He goes down. Jaehong there to beam him. Now you get the Meteor Strike through as well. Fitz, he's got no way out. He has to get some kind of value here. Good support coming in from his teammates, and the Sound Barrier gets thrown in as well by Toby. Nice delay there. Really trying to churn it around here on the Charge. 2 kills for the Seoul, and there's a third, and it's a wipe. Seoul Dynasty gonna tie it up.
A later and more impactful Sound Barrier by Toby was the tail of that fight. Chara forced to use it early. Seoul just kited around a second, waited for it to dissipate, re-engaged with their own Sound Barrier shields, and that's just a fight you're almost never going to win against the Charge when guys have just 150% the HP you do.
Toby looking focused right now. I like that on the side of the Seoul Dynasty. They're here to play, they're here to win. Charge looking a little calm on their side of the stage. Not out of this by any means, of course. This is the first map, but we're tied up 1-1. This is the final point here to decide who will take the lead in the series. And, well, looking like more Reaper. This is a Widow map, potentially, but we really haven't seen much Widow.
We saw a little bit of it yesterday late. Diem played a little bit of it. You can find the angles here. I remember, I think Baby Bay played a little bit of Widow on this map previous to this playoff meta.
Yeah, exactly. Previous to the meta, that was the thing.
So now, yeah, with 2 barriers, it can be very difficult to find the angle for even hitting tanks.
Let's see. Right now, just a standoff. You get the Reapers to melt shields, catch flanks, and then you got Fitz to just go running right on through. With that Fist, it goes through the barriers. This is the answer to this current meta, into the double barrier that you're running into with the Sigma and Orisa working together. So, point unlocks, and now we see who's going to slip up first. It looks like Eileen gets caught completely out in the open there, pummeled by Seoul Dynasty, and now they're lacking damage on the side of the charge. Can Nero make some magic happen here? It's not looking likely.
Eileen has been such a strong focus for this team, and now while they try to kite back, the Guangzhou charge get picked apart. Easy first fight for the Seoul Dynasty.
Such a tough break there for Eileen. Him dying like that, look at that. Fitz nearly got the Meteor Strike. Eileen just crossed 20%. Now you're gonna get ults here. And but at least Hotba, he hasn't been sleeping, Hex. He's got the Flux on here.
He does so much damage as Sigma that he's always gonna have ultimate a little bit ahead of the opposing Sigma.
That's the thing, you do the damage, you get the ult. And well, we're waiting to see. Marvel waiting for it, and Hotba still looking for it. They're gonna be even now in terms of Flux, so it's now about who finds the best opening. Marvel may be thinking it. Oh, what a snipe! Drops the rock right on him.
Shu got rocked!
Oh, and Rio and Shu, well, Shu died, but Rio gets flattened. Marvel gets rid of Hotba the old-fashioned way. Oh, snipe!
From downtown, gets Nero from a mile away. Hotba may be doing damage with the regular old primary, but Marvel has gone to the lab with the accretion.
So sick. Oh, and there's another one. Just, let him know.
It might be my new favorite thing to witness in the game. Long distance, just chucking a rock at someone.
Sound barrier in here, though, on both sides. Both teams trying to whittle each other down, but it's Seoul Dynasty with the positional advantage, holding at the choke. Chara gets picked off. Shu hanging on by a thread. Might be decided, nope, this is it. Back off and reset quick here if you're the charge. You're going to have one more shot at taking the fight on the point.
So Seoul has to decide right now if they want to do a forward hold or just back up. You're winning, so you can just play this passively. It's on Guangzhou to take your point.
And now we're getting into it. 90% on board for Seoul Dynasty. This is the final fight. The charge. They've got a couple of combos. Yeah, exactly. They will have the bombs as well here from Rio shortly, so they can amp up that damage. But it's Shu to open things up with the Coalescence. Toby getting picked by Eileen to kick things off, but it's only Toby and he didn't have barrier. So Jaehong has still got the Coalescence. It's a matter of when he decides to use it. And it's just getting a bit out of hand here for Seoul Dynasty, and it looks like they're not going to throw this fight away. They're going to give up and just reset.
When you're sitting at 99, you just always have the luxury of trying to reset and get back. Don't throw in ultimates where you don't need to, especially when you're going to have every combination that you could possibly want with Flux online for Marvel. Flutta has the Death Blossom. Fitz will definitely have the Meteor Strike. And then you have your opener, too. You saw Guangzhou open it with Coalescence. Coalescence is generally the opener in these situations because it's a very cheap ult, and it creates a lot of space.
Oh, there's it! Trying to knock him out of position, but Jaehong wasn't, unfortunately, he was right in harm's way. It wasn't even like Nero tried to get that one. He's gone, Eileen as well, and Seoul Dynasty. Losing that fight, the charge do it fairly cleanly there.
Gone with it is Coalescence, so they trade the Blossom for the mid-Coalescence kill. Totally works out for them. Hotba will have Flux. Shu nearing a Coalescence of his own. If they can just back up and maybe take chip damage, then Shu will get Coalescence, but Seoul still holding all the combo cards.
Trying to play patient, but yep, set up the shield, move on through as a group here together. Marvel, eyes on him now, he's got the Flux. Meteor Strike is in, that's Fletta opening it up with the help of Fitz. They don't even need to, but he's gonna go ahead and throw it in anyway. Seoul Dynasty just looking to end this fight right here, right now, and take the lead in the series. Point will get flipped. Anybody here? No, it's not gonna happen. They're not gonna be able to touch in time. Nobody can make it for the charge, and it's the Seoul Dynasty taking the first map of the series.
Seoul's done such a great job of controlling space with their ultimates. Fitz goes in really aggressive because he knows he can Meteor Strike out. Then everyone's backing away from the Meteor Strike. They back right into the Death Blossom. That's it. That's how Seoul wins the fight.
So clean. But that's exactly what we were hoping to see here from the Seoul Dynasty. We'll be back with map 2 right after this.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Yes, it wouldn't be an Overwatch League segment without our cast and comms. That's great. I would say it was a ton of fun to make, but we don't actually do anything. We just talk.
We're at a homestand, and I love it. KitKat Rivalry Weekend has been great.
Yeah, the homestands where the memes live.
Guys, we did it. We're here. It's the last week.
It's hot.
It's hot.
Yeah.
We're outside. How's it feel to be outside?
I ain't built for
Nice.
this.
I don't even remember what the sun looks like, to be honest. We've spent a lot of time in an arena.
You know, that's like how the proper way to eat a Kit Kat, you know, is to obviously like do this. No.
No, I think you're supposed to.
He's getting booed by the fans.
You ain't a rapper, and I'm the animal.
Because they got in their own heads about how to deal with the AK
Oh,
Sparrow.
those guys are hyped behind you.
Huh?
I'm sorry, the scream behind you. They were so excited.
They're loving it. They're loving
They
it.
were so
I got a
excited.
crowd just waiting on my every word.
One of them's taking a bath today, Hex, and it's not a cup of milk.
Do you bathe in milk? What?
It's good for the skin.
All right, so if there's one thing I'm 1,000,000% confident in today,
Okay.
it's the fact that an LA team's going to win.
Wow,
I'm gonna
Bren,
leave it at
you're a wizard.
Sometimes the hidden hog is the deadliest.
Never underestimate a boy named Sue.
So jealous of that line.
Sometimes, Matt, the cheese gets the job done.
A refined fist is tough.
Well, you know what they say, Danny. Sometimes you win, sometimes you get splashed.
It's important to enjoy life. We're watching video games. Let's have a good time.
Ah, it's pretty cool.
I didn't know we were so wise, Hex.
We're not. The factual thing is that we are not.
No. But I mean, I'm still amazed that they're able to get anything out of what we say off cam.
Yeah.
Because, you know, well, We'll do the unvarnished one of these days.
Casters After Dark. Coming
It's
soon.
gonna happen. All right, my name's Summit. With me is Hanks, and we're gonna get into the second map of the series. It is the Seoul Dynasty in the lead, but the Charge, they didn't make it easy for them.
It was very, very close on control, so you don't really know which one this is going to go. However, the Charge did lose, so they will have next map pick. They decide that they're also going to bring in a new player. Happy will be subbing in for Nero.
Yeah, that is pretty much according to plan. That's pretty much what we saw versus Chengdu yesterday. Same sort of strategy.
It was on Assault yesterday. Now it's not on Assault. We're going into Hybrid next, I believe. So we're switching things up just a little bit. Next map, the Charge's choice is going to be King's Row.
Indeed it is. And what? I mean, we've seen this map. It's been around since the dawn of time, and nothing existed before Overwatch, so that's an accurate statement.
We always have the debates of whether you should pick a map that you're good on or that your opponent is bad on. This one has the luxury of being both, because Charge are 5-2 on this map, while the Seoul Dynasty is a mere 2-4.
So
it's a perfect pick, is what I'm saying.
It is a perfect pick, and it's fun. We always have this back and forth, and this is also a discussion that's been going on forever. Do you pick to your strengths, or do you pick to your opponent's weaknesses?
Yeah.
I think you pick to your strengths.
I
always play your strong game.
I tend to agree, unless there's like a map that your opponent has never won or never taken a point on.
Even then, Hanks.
Yeah?
Even then. Because you know you're going to crush them everywhere else anyway, right? Oh, this is our map. We're going to beat them up. That's an old discussion.
Well, Happy is the hit scan ace on this team. You see him early on the Widowmaker to start it off. That's not a strategy that's unheard of, especially just open it up and spawn, see if you get anything. Yep. Happy will move over to the Reaper instead. So a Reaper Doomfist damage combination force Guangzhou. Seoul is opting for a Mei, we haven't seen a ton of in these playoffs thus far.
No, we actually thought that would be the name of the game coming into this meta, that you would get a whole bunch of Mei, just triple barrier, right? You get that Mei wall, you get the Sigma barrier, you get the Orisa shield, you get all the barriers. You even get a sound barrier every now and again. But right now, Seoul Dynasty, so far they're holding. They're doing a good job of sticking together. Jaehoon keeping everybody topped up, and it's Fitz to find the first kill of the map. Marvel takes down Happy.
And that fight is it, and they're gonna get a lot of ultimate charge out of this one too. You're never, ever gonna win a fight when you lose both damage dealers. Marvel cleans up the fight with a plume, able to take them down. And you look at the ults, and when you get aced like that, meaning that the entire team dies and not a single kill for your squad, the other team is gonna have a very strong ultimate advantage. The only people getting ults charged for Guangzhou are the healers. So Shu is gonna have Coalescence again before Jaehoon.
Jaehoon, it doesn't really seem like Jaehoon does such a great job on the Moira in terms of ult charge. Always feels like he's lagging a little bit behind.
Yeah,
but
he's used to having to aim.
Yeah, right. I knew you would make that joke. I was thinking about it earlier too. Well, that's, you know, great minds, all that. Shu, though, gonna beam down Toby. And so far, Seoul Dynasty, they're fighting back. Fitz, doesn't matter, he gets the dead eye, he's a dead man, and the Charge is running right through the defense. It's going to be the Charge taking over the first point and unlocking the payload.
Two very early kills, and then the Seoul Dynasty had to rotate through the hotel. It's not an ideal place, especially when a Moira Orb can come through. The only thing that can negate a Moira Orb is a Diva, which we see, you know, scattered into these compositions, but not one on the field here. So they go in there, take a ton of damage. Moira gets the cleanup there. Shu, again, it's very much because he got Coalescence first. They're able to open up with that Coalescence. It creates a lot of space. It's a good ult, decent ult, but it also charges ridiculously fast. So you have no problem just chucking it in there. Most Moiras, the moment they get Coalescence, if there's a fight going on or there's a chance they need to use it to win, they will just hit it.
I'm going to keep an eye on Flooded now because we need to see that Blizzard come in here to get some value for this Mei pick. They're lacking that burst potential, but he's going to pick up the first one. That was a nice wall to block off Happy from the rest of his team, and that's going to open it up here for a one fight on the side of Seoul Dynasty. But that's where you're kind of giving it up. You're getting a bit more control with the Mei because you're slowing him down, you're getting another wall, but then you don't have the fist-to-face potential where you just get to wipe somebody out. So,
but this is a great spot to be on this Mei preemptively because this is one of the hardest chokes to break through. You can't really send people to the high ground. That's a last resort. That's if you get blocked at this archway a couple times. And that Mei wall is going to come up, so you're going to get bisected so many times trying to get in here. Char's going to have to speed boost them and hold on to this Blizzard.
Yeah, just ults everywhere now. It's just going to turn into a fiesta. Would this choke be a rear naked or a, like, which is it? Which is harder to get out of? And so far, the Charge, they're struggling. They're struggling mightily. Hex, they're hitting the arms. Can't quite break out of it, though. Seoul Dynasty, they're cranking back. They got the knee at the spine, and they're not letting go.
Everybody hits their ultimates that had him. Rio's gonna get Supercharger. We'll see if he drops it down. Just try to keep him alive. Meanwhile, Coalescence coming out from the other side. The flanking Sigma.
It's a thing. All of a sudden you're getting stuns coming out of nowhere. He's just cranking away. Marvel doing a great job here on the Sigma, starting to come into his own. Here, take that.
I mean, you can see it. You see it a lot of times at very high level of ladder play as well, that you'll have 5 people and then let Sigma do whatever. Because his kit is so complete, he's got a shield that he can dance back and forth in. If someone gets up on him, he's got the absorb ability to be able to negate all that damage and get himself some more shields. So Sigma can take those risks on the flanks. And almost every ultimate used, but Guangzhou comes up empty.
You even get to Blossom on the wrong side of the wall. No, they caught 2. They will continue to hold. Ooh, that was Marvel throwing in the flux, though. A bit much, perhaps. The damage had been dealt already. He may want that one back. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the real question I have is, what is that melody? I love the voice lines for Sigma. It's so good.
The voice, I haven't got them all yet. You still just gush about the opening video for him, the announcement teaser.
It is one of the best pieces of artwork that Blizzard has ever made, in my opinion. It got dark. You know my taste.
It got real dark, yeah. You kind of knew that it was coming. You kind of knew that you'd be loving it. Oh, eventually they'll go through the wall. And eventually, no, doesn't connect with anybody. Does still, no, freeze! What is that? The timing from Fleta! The save!
Guangzhou struggling to make any progress here, and that's why I love this Mei pick preemptively. It's very difficult to hold first point on King's Row in this meta particularly, because eventually the other team's going to be able to get their barriers and their ultimates online for you. So to preemptively have the Mei ready for this hold right here, this seems like the set strategy for Seoul.
Oh, look at this though.
Eileen has to switch to Symmetra.
Oh, there's the wall going up, and Fitz, no fear from him. Just goes charging straight on in, looking for that back line, looking for the squishies. Might be able to catch him too, and yep, Rio goes down. Eileen as well, and Eileen actually had made the change for the sim, maybe trying to get some TP shenanigans in here, trying to get through that choke point.
It's so that you can actually get through here. It's why you see sim on a lot of assault maps too, so you can actually break through some of the most difficult chokes in the game. This is it for Guangzhou. You're at 40 seconds, and you made no progress past first point. Both support ultimates up. Maybe you can teleport in, Death Blossom, Sound Barrier. You gotta use everything here.
Yep, and just all in chaos. Let's go. Feywall is there defensively from the Seoul Dynasty. Fitz has still got his Blossom ready, and Marvel can stabilize as well. They've just traded places at this point, but there it is. The Flux thrown in. Do they find a pick? No, Chara's able to get his Sound Barrier off in time. Still a lot of pressure getting poured in here on the charge, and Seoul Dynasty are still hanging in this. Fitz bopped out of the way, but that's still a lot of damage going in with the Blossom. 2 kills for the Seoul Dynasty, and the charge, despite their teleporting antics, are not able to break the defense.
Seoul did a great job of recognizing the ultimate they had to deny, and it happened to be Shu. He was using Coalescence, but they all filtered him out. Shu was on the other side of the archway while his team was in there fighting because Seoul boxed him out. Victory, Blizzard, right there.
Sick, sick work there. You got to give it to them. Seoul Dynasty, they've shown up to play today, Hex. We're wondering, we got to see the charge play. We have a kind of idea of what they're capable of versus the Hunters. A bit of a scrappy team on the side of the Hunters. But the Seoul Dynasty, they're looking clean today. They know what they're about here in the play-ins presented by Xfinity. And so we will be taking a quick break. And when we come back, we will see what the Charge are capable of on the defense.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
So the Seoul Dynasty clearly prepared. This was the Guangzhou Charge's map pick, Hex. You seem to think, you know, going into it, this is your pick, this is your home turf. You're gonna have something prepared for it. It turns out it's the Seoul Dynasty who are looking better on London.
Yeah, they definitely had a better strategy there, the preemptive May to be able to hold at that archway, because I think that's one of the better chokes on King's Row. If you lose that control, then where are you really going to hold in streets again? And you got to hold those corners. Not great. You're giving up some high ground. Look, the Seoul Dynasty team, when franchises were announced, we're like, of course Seoul's going to be the Dynasty. This is a team with so many expectations built around them. They also failed to make the playoffs in the 2018 season. By all accounts, an enormous disappointment. So now they have a chance to make the actual playoffs. We're in the play-ins right now.
Yeah.
And they really only need to capture first point and go a little bit through the archway.
That's so close. This could be a quick lead here for the Seoul Dynasty. They're already up 1-0 in the series. They get up to 2-0. It's within striking distance.
Yeah. However, recent history would say they did get reverse swept by Guangzhou. And that's a different meta, different patch.
It could be that you know, they do like London. You know, they give an extra 5 maps and then remember how to play it next in the series. Could be the case. We'll see. They are making it through. Marvel. Good support here for Jaehong. Top back up again. He survives.
They get the halt. They get a stun, and then there was a Reaper by the side. Yet no one died.
Terrific play here coming in from Jaehong. He is in the lead now on the Coalescence. For once, we can say that for Jaehong's sake. And if they just play patient, wait for him to get that online, things can get spicy here for the Charge with the Coalescence. That can make the difference. He's right on the edge of it. That ultimate could open up this defensive point here for the Seoul Dynasty. Yep, no hesitation. Throws it out immediately. Tries to put it on. Happy hanging on by a threat in the back line. He's no longer a threat. And Jaehong just covering everybody right now, and it just barely makes the difference. Oh, Toby going down with Sound Barrier, though. That's big.
Trades. Fletta's behind. Fletta's on the flank. He's trying to isolate targets.
But then the Flux comes in. Are they going to stabilize this Charge? No way. Couple of kills are in. Hoppa gone. Every kill that happens for the defense is solid, but it's worse with the Charge die. Hoppa's got a long way to flow back into this fight. Fletta, he's just getting put on notice. We remember you're around here.
I see you, Fletta. So their taxi is going back right now. Little do Seoul know, and it's a 6v4 right now.
But they know they got the kill on Hotbow. What are they waiting for? Get in there. You have an opportunity. Go for the throat.
It's still Buzzy the position now. Now you got him back in the corner.
Oh, perfect. Chara nowhere to hide. He gets picked. And there's the Seoul Dynasty. They smash him. Charge sent packing, and the Seoul Dynasty, they get the job done.
Yeah, and guess where the Charge are going to spawn?
Miles away.
It's barely on the same map.
It's on the tube, Hex. It is King's Row.
Some of them are going to spawn. Actually, they're getting decent spawns. All right, this is not as terrible as it could have been.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, there is that mechanic in Overwatch where it really takes a long time for the payload to start moving, so it gives the defensive team a chance.
Did they get decent spawns?
They're running.
Yeah, I mean, it does take forever for the payload to start moving. So yeah, most of them got some forward spawns, but they're going to regroup because they don't have to. They can't just lose a fight now. They're going to have an honest fight coming in, but Marvel can just pick everyone off the cart.
And we'll see how it plays. Eileen trying to go for it. It's happy with the Blossom on Toby, but Toby had already used it. Nah, it's just going to be a clean kill here for the Charge. And now they're the ones who get to set up the defense on the choke point. Did they got the hooks in? Did they got the hooks in, Hex?
How much MMA have you been watching?
I don't know, man.
Okay, so this is interesting. Fletta's going to go to the Mei on offense here. And that's in case somebody gets a little too far out, or to buy them the space to come in through this archway. Perhaps even predicting that Guangzhou might be trying to run their own Mei, because a Mei will counter a Mei with a wall. It'll buy you the space you need. Fitz can go as aggressive as he wants because he's got the escape. There's the escape.
Right on through, right on the top. Hoppa splattered flat. Now Eileen's gone as well. Rio's not going to be around for long either. Fitz on a murderous tear. Wiping them out, and that is the Seoul Dynasty closing out the map in fine style. 2-0. Lead in the series. This is first to 4. They're halfway there.
Seoul Dynasty just took Guangzhou's map pick. Guangzhou, by all accounts, was way better on King's Row, but Seoul Dynasty had the plan. They executed. Let's see what our halftime crew has to say.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X5 gives you the speed you need to game like a pro.
The Charge have been red hot as of late, but nobody seems to have told the Dynasty it's been all Seoul in this one. They're up 2-0 over Guangzhou at the break. Welcome back to the Dynasty, everybody. It is halftime presented by Cheez-It Grooves. Malik here. We got Zoe, Brent, and Sideshow, the crew here as usual. Now coming into this match, the Guangzhou Charge, everybody was talking about how strong they were, predicting them to win, but the Seoul Dynasty, they must have missed the memo because they came here to play, and right now they are putting a hurting to the Guangzhou Charge.
The big question for me as well during the pre-show that we had was, can the Guangzhou Charge continue this dominance that they showed?
Yes.
And that was the big question for them, and we wondered whether Nero could do it again on the fire. So far, haven't really seen much Nero, actually.
No.
And Eileen has been having a good game, but Seoul have been really impressing me on an individual basis.
Indeed.
What I love the most about this matchup right now is that yesterday, yeah, we did see Sigma, but it wasn't ever like this big key kind of thing. Today, in this very match, it's all about Sigma. Like, Hoppa and Marvel are putting out an insane performance on both sides on that Sigma hero.
Well, like you guys said earlier, Nero, he's been eerily quiet in this matchup so far. Why do you think that is?
Well, the first time that they played on Busan, it was Fleta was just kind of pushing him out of position. No longer is he engaged in a Pharah battle in which he can dominate. Instead, the first round he had to deal with a hit scan, which put him off a little bit. And then in the second round of Busan, he's actually playing the Reaper. So we haven't really seen that strength of the Guangzhou Charge at all over the first two maps, which is why I think it might really be a tale of two halves. I'm expecting Guangzhou to come out much more strongly in the second half. But when they're playing these Doofus Reaper comps, like you said, Zoe, the tank line from the Seoul Dynasty is dominating.
Yes, yeah. Marvel is just absolutely destroying right now. It's not even like he's succeeding in the numbers aspect when it comes to comparing him to Hopper, but it's just his ability usage. Every accretion, which is the rock stun ability that he has, is hitting every single target, it feels like, on cooldown. It's astonishing how much value he's getting out of the hero.
And it is hard to hit. Now, it's not like Hoppa is falling off or dropping off, rather. He's still putting out big numbers. In the first, on the control map, he was doing 32% of the overall damage on the server, way leading the charge like from both teams. Now, however, second map, I feel like Seoul Dynasty kind of ran away with it, and a lot of that was on the back of Marvel, but also on Fitz, who's looking fantastic on that Doom.
He definitely is.
Indeed. Now, when we're talking about the Seoul Dynasty, one name that always comes up is the Hall of Famer Ryu Jae-hong. And Sideshow, I believe there was something that you saw in that support player's play that you want to break down.
Yeah, definitely. We don't think of Ryu Zhehong as really being a Moira player, right? And we don't really think of Moira as being either a particularly strong hero or a hero in which you can make plays. But it's incredibly important in this current meta due to how the shields work. So I've got an Insights powered by Intel where I want to go through one play in which Ryu Zhehong's coalescence in particular was incredibly important. So here's the setup, and you can see that Zhehong actually has his ultimate available here. And the whole of the Seoul Dynasty are going to come up through this choke point and attempt to take a fight. The double shields are really... They pose a big issue if you want to play a Zen or an Ana player. But when you're playing the Moira, you can get these kind of setups. Now, I'm going to pause this and run this incredibly slowly. So you can see here that there's a halt comes out from Michelle, and they're going to sync that up with a punch from Marvel and also with the coalescence from Zhehong. So they have an opportunity to get a pick for the starters, but they also have a large amount of damage that goes straight through the shield, and they're able to pick off Shu immediately. Now, also, there's just no getting away from this coalescence. He can laser people down from a distance. The beam travels through everything. There is no stopping it. It's got self-heal, regen, heals up the rest of his team, and Zhehong's able just to clean up the rest of the pack. Here it is from his point of view as well. He comes forward, throws out the orb. They go through shields too, and he's just mopping people up. Takes down that supercharger too. It's very difficult to get that out of the fight. Normally think of the Orisa ultimate as a very key ultimate that's difficult to take down because it's behind 2 shields in this meta, but not if you get great value out of your coalescence like Zhehong does. So it's these kind of plays that are really kind of projecting the Seoul Dynasty from being a mediocre team to an excellent one in this meta, at least so far.
I feel like we're seeing a whole lot more value out of Moira in this current meta right now. Well, guys, it's time for Crunch Time presented by Cheez-It Grooves. And if you want to win in Crunch Time, you need to be able to adapt to a new hero. So let's see a toe-to-toe stat comparison for our 2 Sigma players so far. You like that toe-to-toe?
Toe-to-toe.
In lieu of head-to-head.
That's awful.
Thank you. I hate it.
All right. So, of course, Marvel is normally a main tank, now flexing over to the flex tank. Sigma, how's he been doing in comparison?
You can definitely tell that Hopper's got his mechanics down with his main primary fire, right?
Yeah.
The orbs are hitting a lot of targets, but it's Marvel who's excelling with his cooldown, with the rest of his kit. The accretion kills being the most important one, because not only is he securing kills with them, he's also casting a lot of the ultimates as well. Coalescence, Josh just did a fantastic Insights powered by Intel.
You'll get it.
On the Coalescence, thank you very much.
That's why he does it.
My job or anything. But that can just completely be cancelled as well by a well-placed accretion like you're seeing here. And it's absolutely imperative that these teams are able to really get maximum value out of that one ability, because it just adds one more stun that they can really use to set up kills like this that Eileen's getting on the side. So having a good Sigma player is going to be critical in doing well in the playoffs.
I've been very impressed with Marvel.
Yeah, same. But I've also been very impressed with what we've seen from Hopper. I don't think that if anything goes wrong here, I do not think that either of those players is to blame. I do think that it is specifically the DPS heroes who have to step it up a little bit to get that value out of the Sigma's kit.
It's very interesting as well how teams are deciding who wants to pick up the Sigma. We saw the London Spitfire try some approaches where it was the Sigma playing alongside the Diva as well, and the Zarya, so we'll see if that continues.
Indeed. Well, that was Crunch Time presented by Cheez-It Grooves. And we got another half that we're getting ready to jump into. But before we do that, I would like to know from you guys' perspective, what can the Guangzhou Charge do to get back into this matchup? Right now, they look like they're getting pretty much outplayed by the Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah, I feel like Nero needs to come alive. They need to either put him in a position where he can actually, execute what they usually did to get those crucial first picks, or he needs to maybe simply switch onto another hero. Maybe they do have to reconsider playing the Mei again.
Yeah, it feels like the Charge are trying to basically play Seoul's game plan. They're trying to mirror them in that. Is what they feel. Is what it feels like they're trying to do in terms of the Reaper and whatnot. But that's not really where their kid excels, because Fitz is playing out of his mind on Seoul Dynasty. I think shutting down Fitz is going to be a major key moving forwards, actually, for these teams, or for Seoul, really, to try and prevent them from getting away with any much more momentum.
Get Nero on Pharah, you're going to destroy. Pick maps that suit Nero on Pharah and go forward with that hero. It's what won you the game previously. It's what has the opportunity to win you the game today. Stop playing Seoul's game.
Sacha, real quick, Anubis or Hanamura?
I would go for Hanamura, definitely.
Hanamura?
Gives you so much more options.
All right. Well,
I'm going to go with Horizon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Horizon's also
Brent throwing a little monkey wrench in there. I like it. Well, guys, we got another stretch of this match coming up in just a bit. The Seoul Dynasty up 2-0. We'll see if Guangzhou can get back into this match on the other side.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. Deep flavor, deep crunch. It's a mind crunch.
Well, that was the halftime show, and thank you very much. I like it that John was so convincing in his arguments. Where's Nero? Where's Nero Hex?
Nero's not in. Happy's in right now.
Yeah.
It's Happy and Eileen. I think they want Happy to play the Reaper over Nero. I think that's the pick, and also if they do want to run Widowmaker or something like that. But based off the performance yesterday, which was largely Nero being in the sky and doing all the damage and being a problem up top, opened things up for Eileen on the ground. It was the 1-2 punch, and rarely do you have two guys that caliber of damage dealer on a squad. It looks like Seoul has it right now. They've got that figured out.
They're going for it. They're sticking to their guns there.
But it's odd, and so Nero is not coming in. There's no substitutions. Happy's going to be on this. So now the question is, what is the map choice? Because they just chose King's Row, which by the books, Charge had a better record on. Should have been a better team on. Seoul just took it away immediately. It was a pretty one-sided map, to be dead honest about it. And so now Charge have to find out what's their next map to play. Are they really playing to their strengths? Look, no one loves Happy more than I do. This is well documented. There's hundreds of hours of footage of me talking about how great of a player I think Happy is. Do I think his kit suits this meta? I do not.
No.
Am I going to keep asking myself questions and answer them? I will.
Well, keep going, Hex.
What? Am I a little bit surprised that it's Horizon Lunar Colony? Yes, I am.
Now that is, I'll go ahead and ask you a question then. Go ahead and tell us why are you surprised that it's a Horizon Lunar Colony?
Well, because I think there's other maps you can play that would allow Nero to play the Pharah. Yeah, I mean, you could go to Hanamura, and you could at least play Pharah on A. You could come up over top. But Lunar Colony, not the greatest Pharah map, but I mean, I guess that's why Nero's not in. Also, they brought in Happy yesterday to play specifically Horizon Lunar Colony, and that was the one map they lost.
Yeah, they got blown up.
Yeah, he played Ashe, he played a Reaper. It was interesting stuff. I don't necessarily blame Happy for these things, but it wasn't great for them, and now they're coming back to Lunar Colony. Again, this was the Guangzhou Charge map pick.
Yes, loser picks in this current format right now. We're first to 4, no longer first to 3 in the play-ins. But it is also the case that the loser team picks losing team, picks the next map.
That was a little harsh. I was a little bit harsh.
Come on, Charge. I gotta get rid of that victim mentality and start getting some victor mentality going here. Wonder what the coaches had to say. That is also a trend that we've been seeing so far with this match to play by Xfinity, is that when they get to go and have that halftime break, this is when the players get to interact with their coaches. And we have seen teams that were down 2-0, all of a sudden they start showing some fight, all of a sudden they're starting to correct some of those errors. So, curious to see how that plays out here.
Well, Guangzhou makes the first part of the map done. On these assault maps, you have to fight just to get into a position to fight. But they get in with no losses. Happy's got to be a little careful.
No death so far. That's good as far as the Solar Dynasty are concerned. Whoa, I just about cursed bits.
Just about, but he gets out alive. A nice halt is going to pull people off of the high ground, take away that position immediately. Well played there by Rio.
Nice attempt at a pounce there. They do take Michelle eventually. Toby also caught out in the open. Not going to help things here for the Seoul Dynasty, but the Seoul Dynasty, turns out they still have a barrier to hide behind. Sigma is still alive. Jaehong takes out Hotba as well. Things could get a little dicey here for the charge on the push if the Dynasty play this well, but we've lost Jaehong, and that's a lot of your throughput gone by the wayside.
Another barrier comes in from both sides. Both doors blocked by barriers, but it does seem like Guangzhou should be able to finish this one up as Eileen gets bits. Marvel will fall after. And already a much better looking map for Guangzhou than yesterday against Chengdu.
I don't necessarily think when you're getting into these sorts of scenarios, you know, play-ins, presented by Xfinity, playoffs, you know, it is really turning into a crisis of confidence for the teams. I think that's going to be the thing. It's not so much the individual level. These guys, they're all top-level elite performers. But do they believe in themselves? Who actually controls the momentum in the match? Who has the confidence right now to know to get the job done and to get that win? So right now, the Charge first two maps didn't look like they had it, but that was a solid first point they picked up. And now they've got 4 minutes 50 to collect the second point possible here on this map.
This next push is going to be very difficult for the Guangzhou Charge, mostly because Fitz that we see. He's got EMP ready. He's ready to drop it. There it goes. Everybody hacked. Everyone ability-less. Sans abilities.
Yes, and it's just, you know, no fun allowed. Get out of here. Hotba will be able to dodge back out. Looks like, hey, Marvel gonna go aggressive here. Hoping perhaps to catch a stagger. Looking for it. Why not? Don't want to cost it too much. I mean, he is going to respawn right on the point pretty much, so why he is kind of taking these risks. But Happy gets walls off from his team. That's going to delay things further here for the Charge.
Gets frozen right there. Now it's time to reset, but there was a very quick first capture. They're not really in that much trouble just yet. So Guangzhou resets, taking account of their ultimates, only a Death Blossom to go. And Fitz, after he used the EMP, just gonna switch onto the Doomfist instead. Soul right now an embarrassment of riches and ultimates, so Guangzhou can slow push this and start matching the ultimate economy. They're very close in a lot of these.
Right, you see all those glowing check marks, those ultimate abilities. Well, you got Jaehong going for the boost. Fleta decides now it's time to Blizzard, and Rio, he's hanging on by a thread. Nice barriers, but oh, he does go down in the end. And while you lost Eileen as well in the mix, Hanfa, he's sent back to spawn, and it is going to be the Charge getting sent packing. Another minute's going to be burnt off the clock here. And the Seoul Dynasty feels like they're starting to hit their stride here on the second point defense.
That's actually not terrible for Guangzhou, because if you look at it, they were nearing ultimates when Seoul was using the Blizzard on them. So now they're going to have nearly every ultimate except for the sound barrier. You could open with Coalescence. We always talk about it. Opening with Coalescence is great. They hit it on the halftime. It goes through the barriers. It creates all the positioning. You can't just sit behind barriers and wait. Their supercharger's going to come out.
Yeah, oh, and Eileen, perfect way to open it up. Fitz is gone. Toby with the sound barrier, though. Trying to keep his team up, and it is working so far. Shu has to stay alive. He needs to get to be here to provide the healing for his team as Eileen flattens Michelle. Big kills coming in here for the Charge. They can make all the difference. Jaehong caught it out in the open. Happy finding two, and that should be the Seoul Dynasty. The defense has finally been cracked here, Hex.
Able to get it through, even though there was a nice accretion on his shoe during his ultimate. It is the ultimate ability and usage from the Guangzhou Charge that brings it through, and it just happened that they worked on their bank. They knew they weren't going to win that one fight, banked up 5 ultimates, and ultimates, even though they charge slower, still very, very good abilities. Second half of HLC right after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
there you have them on your screen, the charge. And after the halftime, seems like they're following the trend. We've seen this a lot with the teams so far in the play-ins presented by Xfinity, with teams turning around their performance. After the second map, they get to go back, they get to talk to their coaches, and they get back into the match, and they look revitalized. Well, that was a very competent first 2 points picked up here on Lunar Colony for the Guangzhou Charge, and now it's on the Seoul Dynasty. What are they going to do?
Happy did his job there. You see him on the screen, and we were questioning it because Nero had such a good performance yesterday. But Happy had 7 final blows there. Got everything done that he needed. Some good Death Blossom kills as well.
Yeah, and guys, this is the thing. I hate to break it to you, but the grand finals are sold out. Philadelphia, that's it. Sold out arena. No more tickets left. But if you want to come and watch the playoffs presented by Xfinity live here in the Blizzard Arena, you can get them. Go check out the tickets, axs.com/OWL, and get some tickets. Come and watch us with us here live.
And I'm a bit forlorn as we will be bidding farewell to the Blizzard Arena. Only a couple weeks left. This has been our home for so many weeks over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Come by, check it out. See one of the best LCD screens in the entire world.
One of the best stages in the entire world. Hands down, you're right. So good. Now we go. What do we got in store for us here? Hey, we've seen how effective this strategy can be on this map. You get the teleporter down, right across the open ground, and straight up looking for the fight. No hesitation whatsoever here on the side of Seoul Dynasty. Hoping to pull a fast one on the charge. And Charge are running the similar strategy to what we saw yesterday versus the Hunters. Yeah. They've got Happy on Ash.
Eileen gets called out though, caught out rather, and eliminated very early. So Happy's got to get some work done on this Ash if they want any chance. A big anti opens things up, a huge anti from Shu.
Yeah, Vince is gone. That's a lot of damage. Pressure's gone, but they're trading it back, and Shu dying isn't going to help things, but Happy's out in the open. Full shots right to the face, and he's making life difficult here for the Seoul Dynasty. Who is contesting on the point right now? It looks like it's Eileen who's got that body on there, but he's gone, and now the Seoul Dynasty, very quick first take on the point. 6 minutes in the bank to work with.
It's got to be something that Seoul saw yesterday, because Chengdu did that exact same strategy against Guangzhou. So that's the benefit of being a higher seed. You get to get the game tape on a team in a new patch. And you can see how they play on the maps, and Seoul takes advantage of it.
Yeah, it's true. That is actually a very good point to make. Information is invaluable. And so now, well, now the Charge have got a lot of work ahead of them. 5.5 minutes here for the Seoul Dynasty to tie the game up. And they're going to have ultimates coming online now as well. Jaehong nearly has the coalescence. Once again, he's a bit on the slow side with it, but he'll have it online soon enough, and I'm curious to see. I think he's just going to smash it. Yep, as soon as it comes online, boom, get in there. Happy looking for a flank into the back line, putting some pressure on Jaehong. He's going to get beamed, though, and Happy now at risk of getting picked off. Still, kill here for the Charge. They have the man advantage on the Seoul Dynasty.
It's enough. It's enough on assault maps. You usually start with the one, you get a couple more, and it's all good. Shu on the Ana is interesting. I think it's something you can run on the defense because your team's going to be playing behind your own barriers. But now he's going to switch off of it. Caster Curse the Ana.
It's too much pressure. Just get that AoE healing in there, you know, just
yeah, I mean, I like the Ana because I think Bionade with all the anti-healing is one of the best basic abilities in the game.
Hands down. A game that relies so heavily on healing. No healing allowed. Life gets a bit rough. We've got the Fluxes online for both of these teams now. In Rio, he's used the Charger, and Seoul Dynasty, this is wise. This is exactly how it's supposed to go. You back off, you let that thing run out.
It's actually fine for the Charger because Michelle doesn't have his anywhere near, so they're not going to be behind in that aspect, and it buys them some time.
So that's worn off. Happy on the high ground, though, just waiting for them to push on through. Hello, halted into the open. Aggression attempt there. I like that kind of play, but we still have both Fluxes online here. Seoul Dynasty going for the long wrap around, hoping to catch somebody on the Charge out of position. But now it is. We're going to get the Flux on one side and countered by the other. Sound barrier used by Toby. Charge didn't have his online. That might come back to hurt the Charge. Plenty of pressure getting poured on here by the Seoul Dynasty, and it's a sweep of the defense. Real progress getting made here on the second point, and the Seoul Dynasty, they've done it all right.
It's the second time that a better barrier has won Seoul Dynasty. At least some progress on this fight. A last second, the barrier now comes out from Chara as his team in desperation mode just hit touch the point.
Oh man, Eileen just got blasted though. Happy with the double, and nobody's on the point. Michelle, you look confused.
Rio, where are you going? You have a dentist appointment you're late for? He rolls right through the point. He had barrier, he had everything he needed, and then he rolls right off it. They could have pulled that back. Happy hits that Blossom.
That's those unforced errors will cost you. Taking a quick break. We'll be right back. So we just witnessed a Charlie Niner. That it happens. Unforced errors. These are the kinds of things that can potentially cost you. And that was a very quick take because of it for Seoul Dynasty, 2-2. But Seoul Dynasty has so much more time in the bank.
It's not like Rio was low either. He just burned right through. Maybe you saw a target of opportunity and you get kind of anxious in those situations. That's where being kind of a team comprised mostly of rookie players can come back to bite you. They also had a Lucio messing around the corner, but I mean, you get a couple of kills from a Death Blossom. That's probably a fight you can turn back at that point in time.
100%.
Anyway, moving on, we do have another half to go here on Horizon Lunar Colony. The offense will be the Guangzhou Charge as they have less time in their time bank. They make some switches to the composition they want to run. And Fleta is on the Mei. Great stall hero for this situation.
Exactly. See how effective it was on King's Row. Seoul Dynasty, they're clearly comfortable with this strategy. And the Charge are going to be able to make their way through. A little bit of damage here from Marvel, just letting them know he's hanging around here, no worries at all. And the Charge still making up their minds. Still trying to find an opening here.
Don't go outside, please.
Oh, terrific. Perfect. There's a great boot. Marvel knocked right off the side, out of position, can't help his team. Soul Dynasty, though, they're still hanging in this. Nobody's dropped yet on their side, so the Charge still trying to find a kill.
Oh, they're trying to get the Sigma. He's getting a ton of support. They do get a stunt on him in the back right now. Sigma will live.
Oh, that
mistimed punch.
That's crazy. The Mei block. Eileen right now is just desperately trying to find a kill. But it's his teammates who will do it. Chara and Shu. Finally, it works out here for the Charge. Eventually, something had to give, and it turns out it's the Seoul Dynasty's backs.
It comes from that initial knockoff of Marvel on the high ground. That means they have one less barrier up top, which means you can't fight up top. And they all have to leave, and then a couple people get isolated trying to peel for Marvel, trying to keep him alive, and so they get those first two kills onto Marvel and Fleta, and that's it. I mean, you can't fight 4v6 in Overwatch for the most part unless you have these crazy carries. Not gonna happen. So 3 points thus far for Guangzhou Charge, and they've got a minute to go. A minute should get them one Coalescence to open. Both sides have it.
Yeah, both sides have it this time, Jaehong.
But look at this.
There to manage.
Hotba's got the Flux, and Marvel so far away. Marvel almost dead. Oh, barely lives.
There it is. Oh, crap. So many on the side of Seoul as well. Terrific damage going out onto the defense now. Seoul Dynasty already down a man. That's not going to help things. Marvel, that's putting him even further behind on the Flux.
Fleta's got to live. Fleta's got Blizzard. Oh, Fleta almost had Blizzard.
This might be it. 2 ticks, looking for a third here. It is entirely possible for the Charge to just steamroll them, and they do just that.
Toby barrier solo to try to just buy some time, get on the point, gets knocked back, gets stunned off the point, and the Charge, with only a couple minutes in their bank to open that up, get another 2 points, and they still have time in their bank.
They still have time in the bank. That's unreal. They started that with what? It looked like 2 minutes 36, something along those
like
lines.
that, yeah.
So I mean, you know, they got 40 seconds in the bank still, 41 to be precise. That's solid. That's a feel-good moment there for the Charge. They needed that kind of thing because Eileen, I think, could be the main difference maker there as well. He certainly came alive, but both of the damage dealers for the Charge, Happy and Eileen, 11 final blows for Happy, 12 for Eileen.
I mean, it's a young team. It's one of the youngest teams in the league, so if you can start getting some momentum, and you know, after the halftime, I'm sure the coaches were calming them down. Guys, you reverse swept this team. Less than a month ago, 3 weeks ago, you reverse swept this team. You can beat these guys, you know that.
It's true, especially considering, you know, Seoul Dynasty's record so far this season. They're not exactly a dominant force. They're not that team that have that ironclad confidence in their abilities.
They've not been world beaters. They're not necessarily 4-0ing teams they should be. They're losing to teams that I think are below them in a lot of places. So that momentum's a really weird thing in every sort of competitive sport. You start getting one thing going for you, then the other team starts to lose it, and it's the sliding kind of scale.
Yeah, plays along. Well, now let's see. 3 minutes 25 on the clock here for the Seoul Dynasty, and they're going to rinse and repeat. The same strategy. Fitz will be on the Symmetra, teleport across the open ground. Teleport is set up, everybody across, and instant reaction this time from the Charge. They were ready for it! They were ready for it. Perfect play here from the Charge. You're not gonna pull a fast one on us like that again.
Fool me once.
Nope, I'm not pulling a George Bush. You get out of there. Not happening.
I was gonna do the actual one. It's a good saying. They were prepared finally. It happened to them a couple times yesterday too, so it would maybe be fool me 3 times.
Man, that was such a great time nade there from Shu as well. You're going through a TP, I know exactly where you're gonna be. Both tanks in front, boom! Denied the healing. So tough.
Oh, well, this also forces Seoul onto a different composition too. Seoul off of the teleporter strategy. Gonna go over to the Doom and Reaper. It's like pretty mirrored matches, the only difference being Shu and Jaehong running different healers.
Oh, blasting on through. And wrapping around. Oh, high ground given up here. Seoul Dynasty not quite able to open it up the way the Charge did to them.
What are you doing, Chara?
He's rolling, man. Rolling, and now he's dead. He doesn't have to worry about anything anymore, Hanks. That's how it works. There you go, 2 kills for the Seoul Dynasty.
He was all alone. Chara also had a terrible Horizon Lunar Colony yesterday, where he peaked twice and got Widowmaker twice.
That's a good point. Good to bring it up, yeah.
He's all alone on the point, and you can't do that against a Doomfist. Yeah, you're an evasive target. You can mess around and do all you want if the other team's running a Tracer. But a Doomfist has that one-shot capability. Chara goes down, and the rest of the Guangzhou Charge crumble behind it. But now you have to regroup. You got to forget about that. That just happened. Because now you have 2 minutes to hold. You have to, if you hold 2 pushes, you win this map.
Different point of entry coming in for Seoul, though. They elect to wrap on the left side. And already you've got Happy in position, right over the top, waiting for him, goes dropping right on in. He can do this with impunity, but it's Fleta to find the kill. Eileen a bit ahead of himself, and he had Meteor Strike as well, so he'll have that ult for the next run around, but now it's the Flux from Hotba. He got terrific results from it last time. Is it going to work again here? And Michelle is gone. Opportunity to shut down this offense.
Seoul should go home. They will do just that. They're going to retreat. They don't want to give away any more lives.
Quick work there from the observers.
Quick work there, Hotba on the Marvel, showing them that even when you float, you can crouch.
I wonder, man, how uncomfortable that's got to be, because that suit, I mean, his whole body weight is constantly being held up in that suit. I mean, that's got to change. No? Unless it's, you know, where are the contact points on it?
Hey, baby powder, man, baby powder.
Layers on layers.
All right, Seoul with one last push, or Guangzhou will pick up their first map of the series. They got plenty of tools to use it. I mean, they could actually slow play this too and wait for both support ultimates. They could wait for all 6 to be online. It'd be fine. And now I think they should kite, but they're going to go Flux it.
Flux it in. Oh, and it's a 1-for-1. There you go. This is what we were waiting for here. Fitz just coming alive on the Doomfist. Giving it to him rough. No problem at all. And they are just barely hanging in here. Charge still trying to play this out. Soundbayer's in there. Chara keeping his team up. And Fitz still looking for kills, and it's setting it up for his teammates. Rio is out of the fight. Eileen looking to make a play there, but he's going to get chased away, and Fitz is still just hunting for targets.
Chara trying for the redemption story. That barrier kept Guangzhou in this fight. No doubt about it. The Flux comes in late.
Nice play to take Hoppa out of the picture, but now you got Marvel and Jaehong who are gone. Back and forth, but this favors the Charge. They can keep coming through here, and it's the Dynasty who've got further to run.
Fleta is just pounding right now, though. Picks up too late. Chara is going to die. Is there going to be enough stall? They bring in the Diva to try to do just that.
Not again. Not again. Twice running. They can't even believe it. Jaehong, he's chuckling.
They got halted. They got halted. The Matrix came in very quickly to try to get on there. There was some movement abilities, pushed them off. They tried to get back on, and then the halt comes in because he can't Matrix anymore. You're out of it. Pulls them just that corner off. Horizon's got some weird boundaries on the control line. We're going to do it all again on Lunar Colony when we come back.
So we have yet another situation, whether it's Fate, charge and piss somebody off, but that's 2 points that they've given up on the last one there, and that's a tough break for them. Seoul Dynasty will get another crack at this. We're tied up 4-4. Seoul Dynasty get a minute added to the clock. And now we get to see what they're capable of if they can push through here quick.
Yeah, minute 41. 40 seconds isn't the biggest of deals. It can be by a small margin here. And Guangzhou should know what's coming at him. It's going to be a teleporter. Fleta lagging behind here. Oh, new teleporter spot. They're going to take high ground, but they lose Fitz immediately as he gets yoinked and doinked. Rio takes him out. So 30 seconds. It's actually good that that happened, Seoul.
Yeah, because now Fitz is gone for the fist as well.
Yeah, you just reset. It didn't work, but you still have a fight. The worst thing that can happen is a long, drawn-out fight where that happens to you.
20 seconds. Now you're cutting it close. Definitely do not go outside in this situation.
No.
10 seconds.
They can
Gotta
just
get
go to
on.
the point, yeah.
Gotta get on the point. Nice haul. Todd on the low ground. Perhaps he's vulnerable, but it's Eileen. Drops Marvel at the beginning of this fight, and that's not going to bode well here for the offense. Seoul Dynasty now on the back foot. Shu removes Jaehong as well, and they're just going to keep dropping like flies unless Seoul Dynasty can come up with some heroics here.
They get two very quickly. Seoul would also like to get at least one tick onto the points. Not going to happen, though, as they got off of it very briefly, so it started reverting.
Sick call from Marvel. Rotated back onto the hamster, so now he's back into this. Could potentially create it for... Fitz is still alive and kicking. Him and Marvel are working together. Eileen is gone. Now you got Hotba putting in the fight, and finally he takes down Fitz. But that bought enough time for Rio to roll his way back into the point now as well.
What is happening?
This is unreal that they're still in this. Now you've got a Diva, that's Michelle. Anything that gets you back to the point quickly, that's what Seoul Dynasty are going for right now. Fitz is going to have time to get back in here too, Hex. And then when you have that explosive power, he can actually just run in here and start dropping bodies. Unbelievable! Seoul Dynasty stabilize.
Better mental fortitude than I've seen from Seoul throughout most of the season. They make the correct switches, get back to the point. The reinforcement times almost equidistant between these teams. Horizon Lunar Colony is an enormous map. Both sides have to run a really long way to get to that point. 5 points now for... That is heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking when you think about it for the charge. Just this map. Toby, though, he's on the point. Sound barrier there. Buffing everybody up. Hoppa, he's been so good with the fluxes so far. Does he get any value this time? No dodge, but Jaehong dies. No healing here for Seoul Dynasty, and it's looking like this time around, I'm going to call it, Hex. They gotta stabilize. No way!
It's only one. It's 3-1 here, and if Seoul bring this back, then I don't know what to believe anymore. It will be Guangzhou holding on this defense. They will have 141 to at least tie up.
For a fleeting moment there, I thought that Fleta was going to pull it off with that Blossom. I just saw all the health bars dropping on the side of the charge. Like, no way does he get a double or a triple here. That would have been insane, but still, 5 points. 5 points possible, and they got him here for the Seoul Dynasty. Now it's on the Charge.
Charge have 2 shots at this, potentially, depending how long the fight goes in the first one. But 141 should be enough time. We saw Seoul get 2 shots at it with only a minute. That's because Toby died immediately, but you can get back there in time. But I wouldn't want to get back there in like a scattering of heroes that Seoul had to bring in. They had to bring in a Hammond, they had to bring in a Diva. There's a lot of hero switches that had to come in, so Guangzhou going to try to make it a little bit cleaner. If they take this first point, they will not be able to lose the map at the very least, which would be progress, since they lost 2 maps already.
You gotta keep in mind, draws don't really factor into this. It's not like in the regular season where it's like, oh, you got to draw. That's it. You're not getting a 5th map. Here, it's 1st to 4. So that's what we saw earlier in today's match to kick things off. Now we'll get to see Seoul Dynasty. Do they have what it takes to lock out the Charge? And do Charge have the mental fortitude? Everything has gone against them. Everything has gone against them so far on this map. Do they have the mental fortitude to fight through that and get themselves on the board? Seoul Dynasty currently up 2-0 in maps. If they win this, that's going to put them at match point. So this is big. Charge, a lot of pressure on their shoulders right now. Now they're moving on through. No Symmetra shenanigans for them. They want to get right into the meat of it. They want to get right into the action. Seoul Dynasty trying to do a good job here of backing off. Nice stun. They're just trying to trade up. A lot of pressure getting poured onto Seoul Dynasty. They're at risk of dropping.
Flooded Marvel are super low. They're going to retreat, and that's going to charge Jaehong's Coalescence up. Could be a very interesting battle between Shu and Jaehong. Jaehong leading in the arms race thus far.
They give him a tick of permanent. It looks like they give him a tick of permanent. Maybe 2 here as well. When do Seoul Dynasty decide it's time to get into this point and contest? And it's now. Looking like it's now. Fleta. Oh, there's Happy. Once again, Fleta, now you got to come up with the goods, buddy. But it's not enough. Eileen takes Michelle. Marvel is gone as well. This is the charge fighting back. This is the charge righting the wrongs.
I mean, Jaehong dies, but it's kind of Fleta's fault. Fleta went in too deep. He's trying to get out. Now you know the retreat pattern, so Happy rotates. He's there to meet Jaehong, who knows is going to go heal his Reaper. 33% of progress is all that is needed. 55 seconds is the time that they have to do it. Hotfa's got Flux. Shu should have Coalescence. That's the opener.
Wombo. Combo.
Well, not really, but it's a good opener.
Let's see it. I mean, Hopper's been so good with the Fluxes so far. If anybody's capable, it could be him, but Eileen is
still gonna go.
There it is. Do we get it? No. Fleta gets out of dodge. No worries there, and the damage mitigated for Dynasty. So Hopper not getting the value from that Flux, but his teammates are getting it done the old-fashioned way. Headshots will do just fine. Fleta and Toby.
Eileen should be able to get back in during this.
Back and forth now. Fitz is starting to blow him up. Shu and Char are dead. That's the back line gone here for Charge. Somebody focus. Hotba finally, but Happy's finding kills as well. One tick is all they need. Fleta's still here. Michelle is in roll. And now it's going to be on the hamster. How long can he survive? Can he roll his way out of this one? Just trying to play the fight. He's just trying to play the game. They're right on the edge. And what is this? A Marvel? He's on a ride.
It's a great preemptive meteor strike there to get the opposing.
Kill the lantern! Kill the lantern! All right, Fleta's in there with the Blossom now.
We got a Winston on the field. We're in absolute chaos mode.
This is unbelievable. This is unreal. It's just going back and forth, but this has got to be it. The Charge, they couldn't quite find it. They couldn't get it done. It's all on the Seoul Dynasty now, just collecting the kills. Hanpa rolling his way into the grave, and it will be a draw between these two teams.
It's a draw, but it feels like a win for the Seoul Dynasty. What's so impressive about them is some of the changes they made in crunch time, both on their offense to get their 5th point and on their defense to defend that one. You saw changes in a lot of heroes. It worked out for Seoul.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Zip Chair Gaming, the official chair supplier of the Overwatch League.
So the charge, they're not able to find the win there, but they don't get an L either, Hex. They didn't lose.
It's progress.
It's progress. One
Lost,
step at a
lost,
time, right?
draw, maybe a win.
Maybe a win.
They still get the map pick because we go for whoever lost most recently. Draws just don't mean anything at all. So, I mean, it does mean we could be going to map 8. You ready for that one? We could even hit map 9.
We could.
In a world. Hate
you, but we could.
Map 9s do exist. So we're going to have substitutions, then we'll see the map pick, and let's see who is coming in. Nero, trying to play the hero for his team. We'll be subbing in for Happy. I thought Happy played pretty well, actually, to be honest on that.
I think so too, but really, man, let's just get some Pharah play in here. Granted, it's Lunar, you're not going to see Pharah, but like, let's get some Pharah play in here. He was the hero yesterday. He was dominating him and Eileen. I think you can hit the nail on the head. You get the Pharah in the sky, you get the fist on the ground, and you just tear him up. So map set here. Rialto's going to be next. Yeah, we can run Pharah on this all day.
Yeah, Rialto's a really good Pharah map because there's all these ledges and rooftops, especially get around second, and there's a lot of architecture to play around, and that's a key word we always talk about maps with Pharah. Lijiang Tower, there's good architecture to play around. Eichenwald, first, defense. You can play a Pharah just because there's a tower for you to play around. So there's a lot of things that come into consideration when choosing a Pharah, or what is a good Pharah map. Chengdu kind of showed the world that this one is a really good Pharah map. They kind of invented it, if you will. They started off doing it very well, and a lot of teams have copied a lot of styles.
Chengdu have kind of just been, you know, it's so painful. It's so painful that they're Chengdun, Hex. That they're Chengdun this year.
Well, we do have our grand finals this year. September 29th in Philadelphia. Unfortunately, Philadelphia will not be there. It will be live at 3 p.m. Eastern on all of the places where Overwatch League is seen.
Indeed, it will, Hex. No Philly. No Philly at the finals. That would have been too good. Well, you know, I thought for a second there I was thinking that London wouldn't be having a chance at it either, but they showed some grit. They got the job done, and they managed to continue on into the playoffs presented by Seoul.
All right, so Fleta is going to preemptively play the McCree, very likely anticipating a Pharah here. They blind picked into this because Guangzhou picked the map, Nero came in. All things point to Pharah in that instance.
They do, and they take the bait. Nero turns out he's going to go ahead. He'll have that Reaper in play, and Marvel will just continuing to chuck rocks at everybody's heads. Turns out not quite as effective because there's Fleta to take down Chara. Nice bio-nade. I mean, that's going to put a bit of pressure here on Seoul Dynasty, but Seoul Dynasty are the ones finding the kills, and now they can set up once again here at the corner and make life difficult for the charge.
All that for nothing. They push him all the way back. They get a big bio-nade on Free Evil, unable to confirm a single kill out of it. Fleta hits a couple shots, and that's that. Fleta goes to Reaper now, again, because I think the McCree was a blind pick expecting Pharah. Now I'm curious to see if Guangzhou, if they fail this next fight, or even if they succeed, if they will switch to Pharah.
She was just like, could you stand still for just a second, please? Just and my life a little bit.
It looks like they succeed, because there's 0 healing now for Seoul.
This is going to be a one fight. But I think the more pressing question is, Hex, where do the pain pebbles come from? Like, where does he get them from? They just appear there by magic. Like, I didn't think magic was a thing.
I mean...
Isn't this a land or world ruled by science? Isn't he a scientist?
Well, I mean, what would they say? That the most advanced science would appear to be magic?
Alright, that's the way. As the flux comes through, I mean, I guess, yeah, just controlling gravity and doing all sorts of crazy things like this also makes you scratch your head and wonder. But they're trading kills back and forth here on both sides. It's a first point picked up here for the charge. 4 minutes 20 on the clock. And the Seoul Dynasty just continuing to fight back, but it feels like it's been just a never-ending battle here for both of these teams.
The boop off the bridge of finishing Meteor Strike. It was surprising Seoul was even continuing to fight there. However, I suppose you can't really kite back without dying anyway. So Seoul will have to give up that point. Should be at least first corner taken here. Rialto is a map made of pretty much 90-degree turns and angles, so it's all corners and nooks and crannies.
It's weird because, I mean, you know, no European city or town that I've seen has got right angles in it. That's very much a US city-based thing.
Yeah, we have city planners.
Yeah, you guys got blocks. We don't. Oh, what? Here I was expecting Fitz to go up against the wall, but it's not going to be the case. Soundberry used here by Toby. Preemptive, and it's going to pay off. Rio gets overwhelmed, and this is going to be Seoul Dynasty once again winning a fight.
Some uncharacteristic misses there from Eileen. couple of Doomfist passing the night, but most importantly, I think he missed that seismic slam at the end, which he really would have liked to have. That would have given him the time to maybe get another punch up. Not going to be the case as Seoul's defense stabilizes here. Let's take stock, see what we have. Death Blossom, Nano, and Flux should be online for the offensive team. Meteor Strike and Death Blossom of their own, maybe Flux for the defensive team. So I'd give Charge a little bit of the edge here. The Nano can open things up pretty well too.
You know what else can open up things? A fist to the face. All the attention right now on Fitz, but that gave Fleta a chance. It's only Char going down though.
Oh, great hold, pulls 3 off the top. They don't have to worry about the high ground now.
Oh, there's the grab though, gets ganked down, big damage, follow up from Eileen. He's right there to collect the kills, and it's a wipe. Charge running right through him. Seoul Dynasty, they did the best they could. But Hoppa once again coming up with the goods with the Flux.
I think Rio gets overlooked a lot on this team because there's so much great damage dealers and the support line's been good, but like his halts today have been really, really on point, and it's setting up a lot of these fights. The reason that Seoul Dynasty's on the ground to get Gravitic fluxed is because he yoinked him off. He hit that huge halt and grabbed 3 people off the stairs.
And now moving on forward, and there's a coalescence from Jaehong. Leading the way. It's just each team is just, okay, is it my turn to win the fight? Okay, you go ahead now, Seoul. You win the fight. And then it'll be our turn, and then we just keep going back and forth. 3 minutes on the clock, though, for Charge, so still got some room to work with. They've collected the 2 points. 3 points total maximum here on this map, and so Charge are working their way to it. Chaos, though. Marvel. This time around, he will survive. This time around, it's looking all right. He's going to try and battle for that high ground. He's going to go toe-to-toe with the Hoppa, but Hoppa is getting a little bit of support from his teammates. And there it is. Once again, who is going to find the kill? That's why you have the Fist. This is what the Fist is capable of.
3 immediate kills for Eileen, and it's just a boulder rolling downhill when you get that Doomfist going. Who's going to stop it? Gets up to enormous amounts of HP. Cooldowns are resetting all the time. Well, not resetting, but like they're already so low.
Yeah, we do, Eileen. Yeah, that time was just clean, and I like how he held it as well to try and punch Marvel off the side, but couldn't quite sneak it. Well, yeah, because you're looking at everybody else. Nobody else really has the kill potential.
This one's all execution.
It is just counting on
so many ultimates online. Are you sure they're down by 12?
All right. Ah, nicely done, though. This is the first time that the cycle has been broken. Charge are actually winning back-to-back fights. Hex, Seoul Dynasty are looking at him like, what is this? This wasn't part of the agreement. But the Charge, now they got a real chance. They're right on the doorstep of the 3rd point with 1:50 on the clock. There's a lot of room to work with, especially if Eileen is going to paint the walls red.
Flux is traded on both sides here.
Yeah, and then you got the strike right over the top. So Charge right now, doing everything right. Need to shut down Fleta though, and that opened it up. Eileen, the raid boss is dead. Seoul Dynasty looking to collect the loot. They're trying to get in here, and Nero gone as well is going to make things even better here for Seoul. Shu with the coalescence though, making it very difficult to find more kills here for the Seoul Dynasty. Instead, it's Hoppa and Shu.
You can't cut him out when Hoppa's still alive. He puts down so much damage on Sigma. They also have the Orisa's very difficult to kill, and now Shu's getting in on the action.
Yes, Shu. Point in their general direction, and they will eventually, at some point, die. We've all played deathmatch against Moiras.
I'm sorry for that, by the way.
Get you. There it is. They get the 3 points, but just sub 1 minute. 59 seconds on the clock here for the Guangzhou Charge. So 3 points picked up, and we will not be taking a break. We're going to get right back into the thick of things here. So it looks like production are also changing the rules on us on the fly.
Ready to go. A little thrown off, there was no Pharah, but the team seemed to just play well around it and use that as kind of an opening early on. Like, yeah, the McCree won the fight, but then they're stuck on McCree, then they just switch. So I think they just really rode the momentum. And speaking of momentum, I mean, it's all about the Doomfist. That's his entire play style. You can go in and you can die immediately. That happens. Trust me, I know. I've played with Christopher Puckett. However, you can also go in and get 1 kill, and now you're super charged up, and you use next abilities, and now you have more shields. Oh, my punch is back online. Here we go. And it's really good. Also, like, he's the capable, I think, character most capable of getting 3 kills, 4 kills, 5, like right in a row, without ultimates.
Yeah.
There's ultimates that can do that for you, Barrage, Death Blossom, etc., but Doomfist, it's just so much so about getting that first initial kill, and then he's just almost impossible to kill.
He's a whirlwind. He is a whirlwind.
Yeah. Eileen leads the entire server with 11 final blows. Next closest, Fleta at 8. Actually, no, next closest, Shu at 9.
And also check out the Winston skin, the London Spitfire have a new skin, and it is available until September the 16th. It also looks really cool.
It's a great skin, and London Spitfire are still in the game.
I thought you were, okay, I thought you were gonna go a different direction there. Like, great skin, and they're a great team. I was gonna be like, Hex, who is this standing next to me?
I don't even have words for London. Whenever I talk about London, I'm like, yeah, that's London. And if you don't know what that means, you haven't been watching the Overwatch League long enough. London is a very London team, is what I will say about London.
There you go. I was going to go that way, too. It turns out they're an accurate representation of their city. Yeah. There you go.
Now we have the Pharah on defense. Nero's going to be running this, trying to put a lot of pressure down over the top, taking this angle back left. That's why Sigma's so valuable. It just puts that barrier up there. And now where can Pharah even shoot? Can constantly reposition. But this does force Fleta onto the McCree.
Oh, he does survive it, though. Marvel getting a little bit of a love tap there from Eileen, and it's Hogma will find the kill. Working well together. Fitz drops Eileen, but then it's just back and forth. This is where it starts to get out of hand, because if you do not have your Fitz, Nero's going to cool you down.
Peace! Into the drink. Settle down, Moira. Go think about what you've done. And now they will hold at first point. Look, these escort maps get a little bit tricky, because you think you have all the time in the world. You really only have 4 pushes to get that checkpoint. Because you have 4 minutes, each push usually takes a minute unless you're winning fights. So if you get stopped 4 times in a row, you lose the map, which I think you should. If you get stopped 4 times in a row, you should lose the map.
Clearly you're not doing something right.
Yeah.
Clearly it's not working out. Or maybe, Eileen and Nero are just doing something very, very right themselves. Let's go. Looking for it? Yep. Assassinated Fleta.
That's twice now that Fleta has hit flashbangs and been unable to secure the kill. The first time it went on to Nero, he was unable to get that because Nero ducked behind it. And then once McCree doesn't have flashbang against Doomfist or Pharah, you're just fine. You're just going. Doomfist especially. Pharah can still be a little bit dangerous, but not when you have the Mercy in your pocket usually. It's got to hit a couple consecutive headshots to take you down. Or get damage boost, or have Discord on you, but none of those things available right now for the Seoul Dynasty.
Nice cuss as well. Knock him off the high ground, get him out of position. Rio, though, got to be careful. It's Eileen who dies, but Rio's going to follow, and this is a lost fight here for the Charge unless they can find a couple of kills to turn it around. And sure enough, Hoppa's going to be the hero. He gets the flux. He finds one. And what is this dance that they're going back and forth with here?
Still in this right now. Reinforcements coming for the Charge. Chara had Valked, preemptively Valked so that he could get Nero back up. Nero's in the mix. He's going to take a different angle just to wait for his team to start putting pressure on the other side.
Indeed, indeed. What do we got? We got to fight at a choke again. Get the hooks in and get the fist going. Looking for the pound as a Fitz right now. He's got his Meteor Strike. He's going to be able to use it to zone him out. Zoning Strike. It's pretty sick. And now he gets that high ground. Yeah, this is the clever stuff, the clever tech that you can use with the fist. But then it's not even going to help you. Hitting your sleep doesn't matter. No coordination and no follow-up.
Who woke him? What a nutty sleep.
Yeah, that's such a pain. Oh, nice work there from Fleta. 1 for 1. He'll take that, and now it's Rio. Just on his way to the glue factory. And there it is. 3 minutes 21 on the clock here.
Rio becomes Elmer. And now Seoul able to push forward through their 3:13 on their clock. It will extend if they get to second point. The curious question is, where do the next team hold? There's a couple corners to choose from. There's also this high ground that you can harass from at the very least.
Just progress as they wait for the next choke point. Rio's going to get set up here for the barrier in a moment, and he is going to be able to drop down and start contesting. So there it is. And now, well, we look at the standoff where they kind of glare at each other angrily until somebody decides to punch somebody.
Rio's kind of all alone, and now they get funneled back into the waiting arms of the Pharah and Mercy. Michelle's able to take down Eileen, but that's not a great trade.
That's so painful.
Fleta was dead, so who's going to even shoot at this Pharah Mercy?
Yeah, it's sick. It's sick, the use of the positioning. You're way out in the open, very few places to hide if you want to push that cart. So Nero gets to just outflank you and pummel you. Michelle sent back to spawn, and now there's less and less time on the clock here for Seoul Dynasty.
I wonder if this is the position they want to hold. Don't advise it. Has he been in the lab this long? Is there going to be a rock landing on something?
How sick would that have been? I mean, it's old architecture, Hex. You know, is it an actual creation, or is it just a brick falling off the top of the wall there? You never know. You never know in these old cities. Oh, nice nade gets thrown in. Vincent Michelle being careful, but it's Nero coming up with the quad. Looking for the ace. Give it to him. Hakma, you robber.
I'll call it though, it's still good. He was messing around on that rooftop the entire time and there was zero pressure on him. So he could have done whatever he wanted, no one looked at it. He was above this whole time. They decide to rotate in and yeah, into the loving arms of a rocket barrage.
All I want is an ace, Hex.
Soul's positioning was a little bit wonky there, a little bit spread out.
It's looking like they're having trouble dealing with this. They don't quite know which way to turn, and this is exactly what we were predicting coming into this match. You get the Nero, you get the Eileen, which, you know, pick your poison, but it's gonna be painful whichever way you go. Now you got the Flux, doesn't even need to drop him. Rock thrown at him face first, and that is going to be the Seoul Dynasty hard resetting here, getting out of dodge. Down to 50 seconds. Oh, that's awkward.
The Charge looking to pick up their very first map. In a very good spot right now. You might have to use Deadeye just to get out here and just to put some pressure onto the Pharaoh Mercy in the sky. No ultimates available for the Guangzhou Charge.
I mean, you got double barrier, so potentially you can stand there. Yeah, he's just gonna go for it, but oh, and Charge isn't able to cut off the angle in time. That's what I was wondering about. You can just drop down and dodge it, but in the end, it's the reset coming in for the Charge.
Deadeye's not always the most useful of ultimates, but right in that specific situation, it was.
Solid. They so desperately
It's
needed
gonna be another fight.
Look at that. Look at how much ground they have to cover still.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be another fight. Let's take stock. Jaehong, Coalescence, Shu, Nano Boost, Nero, Barrage. Eileen should probably get there if he hits a single punch.
He's gonna get there, Hex.
It's hiding around the corner.
Oh, there's the boost. Oh, what perfect play coming in. Fleta, that time it worked. Stuns him out of the air, and it's not going to happen for Nero. Eileen is still alive, though. He's got the Meteor Strike, keeping him up. And, well, Michelle hanging in. It's on Seoul Dynasty now. Come on, they need to keep their players alive. Eileen the one to go next, and so far, Jaehong has been in the right place at the right time. He's kept his teammates up, and the Seoul Dynasty have got a fair shot at picking up a second point and keeping their hopes alive on this map.
They're going to get it. I wonder if Nero is staying on this or if it was just the most optimistic barrage in the world. And that, I mean, look, I like Nero being aggressive and I like going for it. And you really do want to take out the McCree so that you can do anything else and you don't have to worry about it. But that was from so far away. It was from so far away. Like, are you expecting Fleta to be that bad?
Well, see,
you shouldn't.
This is why we have those word texts that we use as commentators, you know, where it was an inspired play.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
interesting.
Bold.
Yeah.
It was a bold. It was a bold play. I like it. Sometimes you gotta go for it. If you're a star player, you gotta make the play sometimes. Let's go for it though. Here, as it is already Find Fiesta. Rio blowing them up, and Nero's there to chime in as well, trying to make up for the far play from earlier, and it's a total wipe.
Back to spawn with you, Seoul Dynasty. Guangzhou Charge holding stout here. Should be the final engagement if the Charge can win on defense.
That is actually just like a mortar. I mean, just all of a sudden,
yeah,
like
it's pretty great.
Just
yeah,
a rock coming out of nowhere.
Charge, if they hold here, will win their first map of the series.
Get him on the board. That's the name of the game.
Got Gravitic.
This in there, no hesitation. That's pretty much according to plan. Michelle finds the kill on Eileen already to kick this off. Man advantage for the Seoul Dynasty. Make that two. This should be spinning out of control.
Yeah, you hold. You hold here because the Charge finished the map.
Yes, you need to go the distance.
You still have Coalescence and Gravitic Flux. You have plenty of time to get out. Fitz trying to end hopes really early, but I like the retreat from Guangzhou there. Again, it's a one-fight scenario.
They heard him walking, they knew it was up, and Nero checked the corner, and it's going to be a big kill. You lose that burst potential now with Fitz out of the picture for the Seoul Dynasty. Sound barrier used here by Toby, but you're going to get the Flux, and it's just timed perfectly. He holds it long enough for Michelle to take the damage. And that is going to be a one fight here for the Charge, barring some miracle happening for the Seoul Dynasty, but it's not looking likely. And it's the Charge who will hold, and the Charge get on the board. 2-1 the score in the series as it stands.
2-1 the score. We're going into map 5 because of a previous draw, and the Charge look revitalized as Nero comes back in. Hotba had a really good match. I think everybody stepped their game up just a little bit when they needed it, and if you can keep picking maps, you can keep running Pharah, you can win. But Seoul Dynasty's map pick coming up next.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Meteor strike.
So the Charge, they are on the board, Hex. You're right, it's one step after another, and they're on that journey now. That path, perhaps, to victory. They took a draw, now they got to win.
Take a couple of L's, and you move on. You get a draw that should have been a win, and then they convert Rialto.
Life just keeps beating you up. It's relentless, but you got to get those wins. Otherwise it's not going to happen. Right now, the Charge are learning that lesson on stage.
Yeah, I mean, life is all about momentum. This is my life lesson for you. New caster comms coming in. But, sometimes when you're in a downturn, you got to at least stop it first. Let's hit the brakes. That's your draw. And then you can start getting positive momentum going. And look, again, we keep bringing it up. This is a Guangzhou team that has guts. They've reverse swept some teams. But we got a couple really good Sigma players, and that's the playoffs is all about Sigma right now with the brand new hero brought in. And Hotba on Rialto was much better Sigma. Look at those numbers. My goodness.
That's been pretty much, it feels like all match long. His Sigma, I don't think it's the Sigma that's hurting Charge, right? It was waiting for Nero. We got Nero into the play now. It's not like Happy did a terrible job, but Nero, he's definitely stepped up here on that Pharah. That's made the difference, I think.
Look at these 15 final blows to 3. Look at the flux kills, 12-0.
Hoppa always gets value out of those fluxes. We've been seeing that all day.
He's
and yesterday.
Like I said, coming into today, he was the leading damage dealer on Sigmas by far. And it's a very small sample size. We only had 4 games yesterday. Or do we have 4 games? No, 4 Sigma players yesterday, 2 games. So he was by far the one who has picked it up the quickest as far as using that off tank or main tank, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter, the tank to be able to get damage done, because Sigma does have that capability.
He certainly does. I mean, his ultimate is incredible. Yep. I mean, and Hotba, he's getting multiple people in it almost every time. It lifts him up into the air. You're even seeing him get the timing down where it's like, oh, your sound barrier is about to wear off. Hold on, I'll just wait a second. Now you go down. Now you take the damage. He's clean, man. He's sick. This is what we expect to see from a man of Hotba's caliber.
Well, this is Seoul's second map pick because as the higher seed, they were able to pick our very first map, which was also Control. So now we're on Control again. So obviously this isn't their favorite Control, or they would have opened with it. It's their second favorite Control.
Yeah, and this is also Nero's happy, fun place, where he just gets to stay high in the sky and lob rockets at you all day long. It's brutal, it's painful, and this is exactly where Nero wants to be. This is him in his wheelhouse. And now he's dead.
Fleta gets in there, takes down the combo by himself. Control slowly bleeding over to the Seoul Dynasty. Hotba gets in there though. How many times have we said that today?
Still got the Big Daddy.
Still got the barriers out there, and Eileen comes back in. This one's not over because the combo's back.
Oh, look at this. Is like the slowest buildup on the fist ever. Nicely done there by Michelle.
During all this chaos, the charge did take first control, but I think it's going to be just about wrestled back. Who knows? Who knows right now?
Quite bad. Seriously. Nero, you just never say die with Nero, and then Chara stays safe. He's just able to just fly along behind him, and so Nero really just going to work. There's the Nano with the spot. Once again, the stun though, and he's surviving it. Chara, though, can't say the same for him. He's a goner, and that is going to be the Seoul Dynasty flipping it. 21% on the board for the charge, and now it's on the Seoul Dynasty to match that and surpass it.
It was a neat little play, though, because Nero got separated from Chara. Chara was getting zoned out, so then he just flies to the window. They call go window, and they nano him, so he can stay alive a little bit longer, maybe bring that fight back. So didn't work out, but still nice, a coordinated play. Dynasty will now take the lead on the first point of Lijiang Tower.
Oh, Nero! It's Hoppa who gets the kill, but Nero just drawing the attention to himself. A one-for-one trade. Fleta's gone though, but Nero's gone as well, so that, you know, his reason for being is not that big of a deal anymore. Michelle takes down the one, and this is just Fitz going to town, having a field day. Now it's all about just the Seoul Dynasty staggering this out. They are doing a good job of it. 5 alive. Still here on the point for the Seoul Dynasty, and that is going to send the charge packing.
And the charge have had one of the most impressive gardens on Lijiang Tower ever. Remember when they had like 2 kills and they won the entire objective with their stalls?
Yes.
You gotta be in control for that to happen. So you need to wrestle it back before you just start staying lives in there. Here comes the Deadeye from Fleta.
The super clutch Deadeye. Man, that was hard.
It's hard. Trust me, getting something out of Deadeye is still pretty difficult. A lot of people will just use it to reload.
My mind is blown. Well, looking for the slam of jam, and he's not quite finding it. Still gets a kill out of it, but now it's on Marvel. Hey, take a rock to the face for his troubles. Oh, and he's chucked off the side. Chara with the clutch boom knocks him off. Is this an opportunity? Is this a chance? There's still 4-on-3 right now in favor of Seoul, and the damage is still here. You've got both damage dealers, Fleta and Fitz. As long as those guys are alive, it's going to be tough. But now you got this guy Eileen, who happens to be pretty good at the game too.
You don't even have to really look at the numbers to see if a McCree's doing his job. Did the Fair Mercy switch? Yep, I'm doing my job.
And that's going to prompt the switch out of Fleta as well. No more McCree.
Doesn't need to be on it anymore, yeah. It's the rock, paper, scissors here. No reason for him to stay on the McCree.
Wow, Sound Barrier committed to this. They really want to hold out on this fight here, Charge. I mean, it's no hold bar. If you lose this fight, you're in for a rough one, but
yeah, you have to go.
You're trading them both. Lucio's gone. Fleta finds a Rio. No more barriers to hide behind, at least Orisa barriers. But it's losing out here for the charge. They're trying to stagger in here one after the other, just trying to keep it alive, trying to buy time for their teammates to rotate in. That's bought time for Char to get back on this point. Is there any way for him to keep contesting? No, the flip comes through.
To go in and out of the window, they're going to get the Hammond back on, but they got to start getting into the left side of the kill feed.
Oh, he's getting pounded. He is getting pounded. He is gone. Rio, no way. Now that's Fitz. He's just looking for a target. They're going to try and get in here and contest one after another. We have seen them very solid at this sort of work. Hey, you're dead.
It's
Nero kills him.
What?
How does that happen? Now you got a Blossom. Marvel's just going to absorb all that. Thanks for the free barrier, bro. And Seoul Dynasty, I mean, 5 alive still for the Seoul Dynasty. They've still got all the advantage. Marvel finding the final blows, and the Flux just for good measure.
It's all over, but the Dying just needs some cleanup here right now. It is not going to go the Charge's way unless I have never seen a game of Overwatch in my life. That doesn't seem to be the case. And eventually, the Seoul Dynasty will clean up the point, send everyone back to spawn, and grab the first round of Lijiang Tower.
Marvel stepping up a bit here. I think he sensed that we were giving Hotba a little bit too much attention.
Yeah.
Like, wait, hold on. I can do work too.
I
at
want to
Sigma.
I want to give Fleta a lot of credit there too, because the Dynasty were in kind of a difficult position as far as which map to pick, because
Right.
they opened up the series picking Busan, which is not a Pharah map. Not
Right,
really.
fair,
I mean,
fair.
there's you can't play it in Mecha Center. Shrine is weird. Downtown maybe, but it's like you just rarely see it. So now they're in a rock and a hard place picking between Ilios, which you can play far on pretty well, pretty successfully in most stages, and Lijiang, which you can play far on pretty well on most stages outside of Control Center, which we're on now. But they knew that they were going to possibly fight a Pharah, and Fleta came up big and shut it down.
Well, back into mirror mode, what we expected to see at the beginning of this series, Reaper, Fist, and then you got the 2 Sigmatas. Sigmatas, like Stigmata, but you know, they're suffering. He's floating. Nero, though, going to be the one to pick it up, and he is going to start it off strong. Looking for the trade onto Eileen. Eileen, no escape! Fitz hunts him down. So we've got the Fist still alive here for Seoul Dynasty. That burst still possible, and Marvel takes out the damage for the charge.
This one is looking really rough for Guangzhou, and even rougher is Hotba. Knocked into a wall.
Well, they got to check your corners. I like that, Fitz. Be aware. And man, a stagger on Shu as well. Just more time getting burnt off this clock. It's the first control here for Seoul Dynasty, and they're in the lead on this map 1-0. So Seoul Dynasty looking for the aggressive choke, at least to start.
Man, Doomfist is almost good on every single control round you can think of, because you do more damage smashing people into walls, and it's all close quarters fighting for the most part.
Bring him in, and he'll knock him down. And well, now Coalescence is on both sides, crossing the beams. What are they doing? Damage and healing all over the place, and it's Eileen who comes out ahead with the kill in this fight to open it up. No Orisa alive for Dynasty. That removes one of the shields. Fitz can still be the hero, though. Eileen goes down, and then you got Fitz with the strike. Looking for a target.
Still 5-on-5 in this one. They're going to commit barrier discharge, and Toby answers in kind.
Just perfect synergy there. The Lucio's on Lucio's, and then the Fluxes are in it too. Darrow's going to get out of here, drop him into the Blossom, and bring the pain.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. You're going to see a lot of really cool stuff with this Sigma ultimate. What an interesting hero to add into the mix of the Overwatch crew. And that's it. Flux into Death Blossom. Death by gravity, more ways than one. They will finally flip it back over. Control to Guangzhou charge, 10% and counting up. Seoul sitting near a very comfortable 60.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was a good stagger there for Seoul. They were putting up a fight, but they still managed to get quite a bit of percentage on the board. So that's solid, puts them in that range. Not quite a fight ender, but or a map ender rather, but still possible. Marvel, whoa, buddy. Absorbs quite a bit. Gets a good shield. They'll get topped up here by Jae Hong. Coalescence on Coalescence once again, mirroring each other, but this time it is the opposite. It's Fitz finding Rio, and Hotba's dead as well. So 2 kills, make that 3, and that's just a hard reset coming in here from the charge. So the Seoul Dynasty, quick flip, not really letting the charge get too much of a presence going here.
Superior ultimate positioning from Michelle. If you notice, both Rio and Michelle use their supercharger right there, but Michelle was able to put it behind an actual pillar, not a shield that you put up, because Coalescence goes through the shields. He puts it behind the wall. The rest of his team gets the damage boost from it. Meanwhile, Rio's died immediately.
And Eileen's getting blown up. He's falling way behind in terms of statistics right now. The Seoul Dynasty, who are flat out dominating, but their damage dealers are ahead of the charge damage dealers, and that's making all the difference here when you're relying so heavily on the Fist to find the kills. So 95%, is anybody going to be able to make it to the point? It's not looking likely. They've got just a split second here, and it's not happening. Charge cannot making it in time, and the Seoul Dynasty extend their lead 3-1 to score.
Seoul Dynasty put themselves on match point in our play-in tournament for the Overwatch League 2019 season. First to 4 will advance to our actual playoff system. I believe we have a game break right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
It looked like the Guangzhou Charge were out of it, but they're back into this matchup right now with their Seoul Dynasty up 3-1 at the game break. What's up, everybody? Malik here. We got Zoe, we got Brent. We're here for the game break. And the Guangzhou Charge have finally come alive in this second stretch, but they're still down 2 maps. What do you guys think, though? What do they need to do, like, just to
I mean, big surprise. Nero back on Farah and suddenly they win a game.
Is that what it is? Nero's back?
A big component of it, honestly, as well, is, Nero's playing really well, but unfortunately, the Farah is just not quite good enough because it's Fleder who's been stealing the show for them in a lot of regards for Seoul Dynasty. He's been shutting down Nero, reducing the impact. I think Nero's perfectly happy to take a mirror match against another Farah, but he has to play slightly differently when Fletcher's flexing over to something like the McCree as well. He's getting shut down from long range, as we saw in a lot of these games.
Very interesting. Yeah, Fletcher's been getting some key eliminations. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into the highlights. Starting off with Horizon Lunar Colony. This was a really close one. It was so close that it came down to a draw.
Yeah, went the distance, didn't it? Went to 5-5. But I got to say as well, this was a map that really opened my eyes actually to one player that we didn't really talk about as much, but Ryuje Hong. And it's on a hero that we also don't really talk about a lot. It was on the Moira in particular. He's doing a very good job of actually getting a lot of value out of Moira itself, because obviously there's not a D.Va in the game. It's much harder for them to try and negate a lot of the healing orbs and the damage orbs. The only character that can do that is going to be the Sigma. But Ryuje Hong has been very effective at keeping his team alive in a lot of these clutch scenarios and building up the coalescences super quick, which is a win condition for Seoul moving forward.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we see both teams running mainly that Moira, in fact, and every once in a while we do have the Ana trickling in, and they do both actually get a lot of value out of both of those supports, but it has been a DPS show overall. It's been pretty much Fleda, as you mentioned before, Brent, who is shutting down almost single-handedly both damage healers from the Guangzhou Charge. It's really, really hard for them to get value out of the hero picks they're having.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I really underrated Seoul coming into this match. I thought Guangzhou were going to have just an absolute
to be fair,
around,
though, it's not like Seoul Dynasty gave us much the entirety of the season.
It's true,
they just kind of cycled somewhere in the middle, but they never really stood out. And in this match in particular, they showed us more mental fortitude and patience than we've ever seen from them in the entirety of the Overwatch League.
Yeah, they're not known to be a flashy team. But today, I mean, it's going to be Fitz and Fleto who have really been performing up to such a high standard. Fitz in particular, we always knew he could play the Doomfist, but he's really keeping up with Eileen, who we consider to be one of the best Doomfists in the league. And then Fleto is doing, honestly, so much work. He's pulling back often multiple people to try and shut him down. Nero's trying to get work done, but unfortunately you can see here, they're getting forced back onto these compositions where he's playing the Reaper to try and mirror it, because Nero's just not comfortable playing that far into it, despite them having better results. And it's just not working out for them in regards to that. Right. Fleta is having an absolute wild time right now playing in this match.
And it's almost kind of quiet what he's doing. He's like going flanking.
It's subtle. It's always been subtle though with Fleta. You never really notice it, but that's where the Fleta deadlift comes in. I mean, it's only a deadlift if your team loses, but it looks like they're going to win.
You know, all season long, it's been really hard to give the Dynasty an identity because they've had such a big lineup. Do you feel like with this matchup, we're finally starting to see them kind of develop an identity?
Yeah, I mean, it's really helping them that it does seem to play into the hero pools of the players specifically. Seeing Fitz on that Doomfist and Fleta being able to flex over from that McCree into that Reaper, I just do feel like it fits them really well. And Marvel has been looking crisp on that Sigma. So yeah, maybe they finally found it.
All right. Well, I like what you said there. And man, Marvel it's really interesting seeing these flex tanks and main tanks kind of switch positions. I'm enjoying this. All right. Map 6 is a hybrid map. So I want to know, what should the Charge choose in you guys' opinion? Should they go to Eichenwald or should they go to Numbani?
Historically, Numbani is actually an awful map for the Guangzhou Charge. Yeah. So they don't like that map whatsoever. I mean, if Eichenwald's the option, they're going to probably pick Eichenwald into it. However, I will say as well, we're into a new meta. It may be that they've been scrimming, they've been practicing on the map itself onto Numbani and been seeing good results as well. But my first instinct would be to say pick Eichenwald because it kind of suits what they want to play. Yeah. Near on the far, that first point is super effective. You've got that massive tower that you can just work around. That's what I was thinking. And use it as cover.
But it feels like he doesn't even really want to play that far because if Fleta is going to roll up on McCree, then do you really want to take that risk? Probably not. Both maps can see Farah playtime, so let's see which one they take.
Did Fleta have this McCree before this match? I don't remember.
I'm sure he did somewhere.
It's always been there. He's always been a super capable player. The issue is that we've never really seen it because, like you said, he's a subtle carry. You don't really see these big pop-up.
Also, the meta like throughout the entirety of
yeah.
the season. It hasn't really been asking from the pre.
Yeah, he plays a role where he has a huge amount of impacts, but sometimes he doesn't even get kills. That's not where you see his impact. His impact is going to be putting in consistent damage. That's what he's been doing throughout this series sometimes, is forcing Nero down to very low HP so he has to back off. That's oftentimes better than a kill because you're forced him to go back, get some healing, and taking space away from them.
I love it. I love it. Fleta, the sneaky assassin imposing his will. You had something you wanted to add there, Zoe?
Oh, yeah, just that I felt like the Seoul Dynasty did a really good job in forcing out any abilities from the charge. So when it actually came to the team fight, the charge didn't really have anything to work with anymore. So that way they really forced their playstyle and their pacing onto the charge.
You're right. Well, it seems like the Seoul Dynasty came out here with a game plan, and they are executing just one map away from moving on to our playoffs. We'll see if they're able to do that, or if the Guangzhou Charge are able to bring it back right after the break. Stay tuned.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Meteor strike. I'm on fire. Hello.
Well, you have it. Turns out that the Seoul Dynasty, that guy was really excited to see the Seoul Dynasty, him too, really excited to see the Seoul Dynasty extend their lead by another map. 3-1 right now. Different from, we got to keep in mind, right? Play-ins, playoffs, both presented by Xfinity.
Xfinity, you said?
Xfinity. So, both of them, it's first to 4. It's not first to 3 like in the regular season, guys. So, first to 4. Seoul Dynasty still needs to win one more map.
Yeah, this would be enormous for Seoul. Again, just to reiterate, last year, a disappointment for Seoul. They weren't the worst team in the league. I believe they ranked 8th overall last year, but we only had 12 teams last year.
Exactly.
Right, so it was definitely bottom half of the league, and they disappointed a lot because everyone had them as front runners. When you picked early on, it was like probably this Seoul squad, and it just didn't work out. They went through some roster changes and never looked like they put it together. So this year, to be able to make it into our playoffs presented by Xfinity, that would be a great step forward for this Seoul Dynasty squad.
It'd be fantastic. It'd be the redemption arc, perhaps, here for Seoul.
And, you know, we were talking earlier today because I've been kind of on the charge bandwagon earlier, and before the broadcast started, when we thought we were going to go on at 1:30 p.m., that didn't end up happening. But you're like, oh, man, I think the Charge are going to stomp today. And I'm like, I don't know. I was looking at the numbers, and this new meta could really work out for the Seoul Dynasty. And, like, thanks our stats guys and our research guys, Ben and Johnny, for putting those things together because, you know, when I actually started looking at them, the resources I'm actually provided, I was like, I think Seoul could do really well in this meta. And I thought it was maybe going to be Fleta on the Pharah, but he's been doing really well on the McCree. Fleta's always been able to carry a team. The term Fleta deadlift exists for a reason.
And that's where, I mean, that reason comes from stage 1 of last year, where we were all like, who is this guy and how is he dominating so hard?
It goes back even a little further than that, before the Overwatch League even started. But this is the Guangzhou Charge map pick, playing for their lives right now. One more win for Seoul gets them to 4, and they will move on to our Overwatch League 2019 playoffs, presented by
Xfinity.
There you go. This is a good pick, I think, for Guangzhou if they want to run a Pharah at some point. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, that there's some maps that specifically have architecture which allow you to play Pharah. On defense on this map, because of this giant tower here. That's why you see it on Lijiang, appropriately named Tower. You can hide behind it, you can duck, you can take angles. So it does seem like this is the pick they want to go. Look, you ride the horse that got you there. Nero's been playing this Pharah very well. Eileen, no slouch, his own right. So you pick Pharah maps and you just hope for the best.
Quick peek there, a little bit of scouting information.
Okay,
we will see Rio go back over to the Orisa, and we will have Nero changing.
Well, they peeked a cowboy named Fleta. They heard the jingle jangle, and they're like, no, we can't play Pharah into that.
Ooh, you can also just get obliterated. Well, okay then. Now it's as good as it gets. That's a perfect start. Seoul Dynasty really
look,
pounce on this.
they buffed Shadow Step, but let's be reasonable about it at some point.
They're not going to see this coming. But I mean, especially after you just highlighted the fact that there's a McCree. There's got to be a flashbang instantly as soon as you teleport in.
You can't just teleport in and then hope to Wraith walk away, because there is still a delay. Like I said, it got changed and it's better, but it's not unbeatable. You're not immortal.
Okay, fine. We'll see. This team is so capable of a lot. They're trading fists right now. And both of the fists have survived.
It was a clutch barrier there, otherwise that's... And Orisa was going to go down.
There was the halt into a efficient combo.
That great start. A great long distance start puts Jaehong to sleep, and now the healing is resting for a while. They take positional advantage off of that dart.
Boom. No hesitation from Jaehong. Just goes for the coalescence immediately. Shu should be able to get the spot heal going with the boost as well. No hesitation on his side. Gonna use that immediately. We're gonna get Nero all buffed up, and this is when he can do serious damage. Fitz first to go down in this fight, and Michelle, yep. Nero's just doing too much damage when he's boosted, even without the boost.
Anti comes in, and they're gonna clean this one up. The Charge will take this first point, and I don't think you can overstate that sleep dart enough, because it didn't get any kills, right? And Jaehong woke up, but it let them come in, because Seoul can't push forward on you. They can't even really set a point, because there's just not enough healing. Lucio, great hero. A lot of utility, a lot of good stuff going for him. Massive healing, not so much anymore.
Indeed.
That's why you have Moira. That's why you have different kinds of healers that you mix in.
And it hits the Moira, and Jaehong hasn't exactly been lightning quick at picking up those coalescences either, so more pressure, less fun for the Hong, and
is that a different patch? Is that PTR? I thought you could fade out of sleep. Why did Jaehong take the nap?
He just got...
I don't know. There's been a lot of recent changes to fade and sleep, so a lot of people have different opinions on that one.
Fantastic staggers, that's what I'm going to say here, because that is really putting a wrench in things for Seoul. They're going to have to take quite a bit of time now to get out. Look at all this free push that the Charge are getting. Seoul Dynasty, they're hoping to fight early here on the defense. They're hoping to get in here and put a little bit of a contest on this payload, but the Charge have got the momentum on the offense. They're not letting go. The Seoul Dynasty now feel like they have to use the sound barrier just to be able to take this fight. Chara still holding on to his. It's not even look like he's going to want to use it now. Hotba, he's been laid low. Fitz has committed the Meteor Strike, and look again, still free charge going right there.
I mean, they get the push going through. They do commit both the Meteor Strike and the Flux, and they're gonna have to back up right now. They were in a good spot, but they got a little too aggressive, and the damage was unable to come through for Guangzhou. And now the tough part is you're always gonna have to fight on this bridge. That's where Toby makes his name.
Yeah, exactly. It's also, I mean, you gotta give it to the Charge though. Good discipline on their side once they realized they were out of it. Now they've got quite a few ultimates to work with, including both of the support ultimates. Chara never actually felt like using the sound barrier, so that could turn things around here for the Charge. They could have a relatively easy fight on their hands. Because the Dynasty, I mean, unless you're getting some god tier Flux, they're still way off. Yeah, so you're going to get both of the bongos in. Now Nero's in with the blood. Yeah, this is big damage. Boosted! Boosted Blossom just wrecks everything.
All right, so just to clarify before I thought I was losing my mind, you could fade out of sleep, and then people were like, that makes no sense. And then they're like, okay, we won't do that. So it did exist momentarily. hard to keep up with the PTR and the live game and everything.
There's been so many changes. I mean, we haven't even seen a Brigitte, but like all the changes, basically a rework for her, that would make our lives even more complicated. Might as well have 2 new heroes to talk about at that point.
Symmetra gets reworked pretty consistently. But there it is. Charge will break over the bridge. Char's got Sound Barrier to go through. There will be a Meteor Strike. See, the ultimates are in favor of the defending team at the moment.
Riley still got the Meteor, but there's the Sound Barrier. Flux used here by Marvel, hoping to do some damage, but the Sound Barrier's there to mitigate it. Eileen and Hotfa, though, dropping a little bit low. Getting a bit scary there for the charge, but it's just fist on fist, and it's Eileen who loses out. Fleta somehow survives, hanging on by a thread.
Nade, can they do anything with it? No, they lost too many people, and the Flux comes in really late from Hoppa.
Still, Hoppa, he'll get it done the old-fashioned way.
He's all alone, though. He's all alone in a hostile and cruel world. Turns out he is Pagliacci. All right, resetting here. The way around. Fleta's going to have Death Blossom on the defense for the next fight. Toby and Michelle should get there as well. Offensively, I mean, a Nano Doomfist is always good. Nano Reaper was its own meta at one point in time. Don't see it too much lately. Fleta's hiding this corner. Check your corners.
Yeah, do they go through it? Do they have to trigger this split? Fleta gets more than that. He's going to go straight in. Instant move, trying to deflect the damage, but still too much. And Seoul Dynasty stabilized once again. 2 minutes 15 on the clock now for the charge. For whatever reason, I thought they had a whole lot more time to work with. I thought they'd been quicker. But they aren't very far from the finish here. One last good push from them will get the job done. So the charge, they can be patient. They only have the boost to work with right now, but they aren't far off of a Blossom, and they're not far off the rest of it either. Seoul Dynasty, though, wow, Jayhawk, no hesitation. Straight in with the Coalescence. Another fight won here for Seoul Dynasty, unless we can get something. Yep, they're aware. They kept tabs on Nero, and he is not making it out here in one piece.
And now the difficult thing is you've been pushed back so far that the defense can just hold this door. And now the cart is rolling backwards. The payload reverting its progress, so if you hold this door, the charge might have to win 2 fights. They're probably going to have to win 2 fights no matter what. That's less than 90 seconds to do so.
Yeah. Payload keeps on regressing back towards the starting point here. So let's see it now. What's the play? Long goes down for Seoul Dynasty. They're just trying to stagger out these ultimates right now to make life easier for themselves, to give them a little bit of an edge. They don't want to overcommit necessarily. Toby decides now's the time to go for the Sound Barrier. Marvel with the Flux, countered out by Chara. You still got the Wombo combo attempt there from Eileen with the Meteor Strike. Not finding anything with the ults. You're going to have to connect fist with face at some point here. Somebody on either one of these teams is going to have to find a kill.
Well, I mean, not really for the charge. They're getting pushed back. There's the kill.
There it is. Fitz finds him, Rio gone, and that is going to just open it wide here. Seoul Dynasty shepherding the charge back to their spawns, but there's only 30 seconds left on the clock, Hex.
One last chance for the charge to get a little bit more progress as Fitz continues to put on a show here on the Doomfist. I mean, we talk so much about Fleta, but Fitz's Doomfist has been very, very good the times they've run it Seoul Dynasty this year. Last shot for Guangzhou. It's all about Hotba. Shu should have the nano boost as well. So you could, I mean, hope for a good Flux and then Nano, Nero, or Eileen to get in and finish.
Well, that's a start. Taking Fitz out of the picture early.
But someone's got to get some payload. It's Chara, but Chara's dead. Someone else has to get the payload now.
Who's going to make it? Who's going to make it? We do have the setup. Yes, they do manage to get a body on there, but they've given up a lot to do so. Still, big kills coming through here for the charge. 3 laid low for the Seoul Dynasty. Jayhawk barely holds on. You still got Flooding, you still got Fitz, though. They have their ults, and Michelle's going to make the change. She's going for the Hammond.
Nope, there. What? No one gets there.
Meteor strike.
Well, it turns out Seoul can make mistakes, too. You know, Charge did it twice on Lunar. Now Seoul, they'll be like, right, fair's fair, guys. We'll go ahead and cut you some slack and not put a body on the payload. We're taking a break, and we'll be back to see how this all plays out right after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Hello there. Hello. Hello there.
So the Seoul Dynasty, it turns out they have just a shred of mercy in their hearts. They feel like they deserved to get 3 points, Hex. 3 points on the board for the Charge here on Eichenwald. And now we change sides, and it's going to be the Charge on the defense and the Seoul Dynasty on the offense.
This is where you at least try to run the Pharah. You play the strategies that worked out well for you, that got you to the second round of the play-ins. And I think you would be doing your team a disservice if you didn't at least try this. But Seoul knows this. That's why Seoul's got a Widow who's going to go for this shot. In fact, Fitz actually gets hit by Shu. Shu was waiting for it. Fitz will probably switch. Fleta will stay. You need some pressure here, and Fleta's done a very good job of putting pressure on the Pharah and the Mercy in the sky.
Maybe he has, and someone just starts laying into him. Working his way up to that Deadeye. We'll see if that's going to be the playmaker here. And so, time to go. Let's go. Barriers are up. Opportunity here. Moving in. Fleta keeping the angle wide, though. Wanted to put the pressure on. Maximum pressure, at least to Hotba. Getting overwhelmed.
Hotba kind of took himself out of the party, but his healers are going to be there. No! Chara goes for the bold res! And that might just be fight.
That was confidence building there. Or the opposite of that. Nero, goodbye.
No, he's still there, but even though the primary from Doofus not too strong, it's enough to finish off low health heroes. The knuckle bullets come through, and Seoul with an extremely fast take.
Now, that's as good as it gets. 5:27 on the clock here for Seoul Dynasty, and they are already making progress towards that gate that was slowly, oh so slowly.
So I'll put the cart before the horse a little bit here.
But the horse is on the cart.
Yes, I know. Arissa. What a fine filly she is. Since Guangzhou finished with no time left, if Seoul is able to finish with over a minute left, they cannot lose the map, they can only win it.
Okay, then.
It's a long way from now.
Yeah, exactly like that. So what do you have against Seoul? Do they owe you for dinner or something? Like, trying to curse them here?
No, because I'm looking at the kill feed and it's looking pretty golden for him.
Yeah, that's as good as it gets. Again, I mean, right now, just blow after blow. The Charge are getting beaten up, and the Seoul Dynasty, they're making a whole lot of progress. Ults, yes, are online for the Charge, so they can have a fight coming into this next one. But they've got so much progress to be made here for Seoul Dynasty, and they're going to have to count for that Charge at some point. Fleta, yes, manages to just get his way back over here to safety. Nicely done.
I can't believe no one's fought on second point, really, at all.
Yeah, they're not really holding up there, but they just got obliterated there. I mean, Charge, rough one. Let's see it, though. Nero, the first to go down here for the Charge. That's not going to help things. But again, it's just Fitz. Fitz doing Fitz things. He's just running amok right now in the back line. 3 kills for Fitz. Eileen chiming in, saying, hey, I'm here too. But Fitz, he is just, oh, the timing impeccable. What a save. That would have been a dead Eileen. Well, it turns out he will collect the kill anyway. And the Seoul Dynasty right now just will not be stopped.
I think there's a single kill, maybe 2 kills for Guangzhou Charge on their entire defense thus far. You gotta find a point to stabilize here. You gotta maybe use an ultimate to stabilize. I guess it's gotta be Hotba. Hotba's gotta get something done here, but it's been Fitz just running wild. And maybe the one knock on Guangzhou is they don't really have someone to stop him.
Oh, Gravitic Flux on the point. Where are you gonna go now, boys? Fitz getting topped up. Great focus healing here coming in from Jayhawk. That gets him the Coalescence. We'll see. Yep. Decides to use the Coalescence immediately, but the bongos are down for the charge. That's a lot of damage that the Dynasty have to contend with.
That's why the Coalescence comes in and burns down the bongo immediately, and Fitz continues to roll over the Guangzhou charge.
This is getting out of hand, Hex. This is actually getting a bit ridiculous. Fitz, all the kills for him. He's up to 18 kills so far.
Yeah, Lean's gotten a couple, but that's been the only thing that Guangzhou have done on this map. Guangzhou's reaching that point where you have to come out in barrier, and you got to blossom, and you got to hope for a meteor strike, and you have to coalescence, because kind of saving it for the next fight ain't working. Great start.
That's the start that you're looking for. Michelle out of the picture, and yeah, Seoul Dynasty going for the reset here. Yeah. Do not use anything if you are Seoul Dynasty. Die quick or just run on back. So they'll get out of dodge, and well, Seoul Dynasty.
Well, that works out really well for them, because I thought they were going to have to use things, but then Nero just goes on a flank, he takes on the main tank, and that's good. That's as good enough as a fight as you need. And now you're getting to that stabilization point for Guangzhou. That one as good as it could have gone, because now you've got both support ultimates and Death Blossom still, and now they've got the forward hold on the doorway.
All right, but
they've got to be careful, though. Punished for your hubris here.
Yeah, 3.5 minutes, and they might be getting ahead of themselves. Nero barely makes it back to safety with the rest of his team, but now they're all grouped up. Marvel, nowhere near a flux though, so they'll be missing that.
Flooded just went on a flank. Flooded went on a flank. Just looking to set up a Blossom.
Oh, Blossom is there. Sets it up, and he rams it home. Shoot, and Nero dead for the charge.
And forces out the barrier from Chara.
Yeah, this is a perfect opening now for the Seoul Dynasty to push forward and just slam it home. Charge. They're getting forced back on every side now. Some good healing coming in from Jaehong, and they are just pushing forward. Seoul Dynasty right now, can they get the job done? Can they just collect the 3 points? Not record time, but it's pretty close. 250 on the clock, and Seoul just going for it. It's Seoul Dynasty. They have to collect the 3 now. There's nothing really that can be done for the charge. They are Hanma thought for a second he might contest it, but it's not meant to be. And the Seoul Dynasty tie it up 3-3. 244 in the bank for Seoul.
On the verge of getting into the playoffs here to move on in our tournament. 3-1 Seoul Dynasty leads. We'll see if they can close it out right after this.
And we're live with the Seoul Dynasty. This is it, the push for victory here, Hanks. 2:44 on the clock, and all the pressure on the charge to hold them off.
They can't lose the map, so Seoul will still stay with 3 wins, Guangzhou with 1. If there's a draw, because we're on a hybrid map, Seoul simply needs 33% on the very first capture point, and they will lock up their playoff spot. They will move forward in our Overwatch League 2019. And yeah, it's cute, didn't work.
Oh, so close. Man. And they're not even taking any risks. Charge, they didn't even go for the far, so they're not even playing to their strengths potentially. Although, I mean, we saw how that worked the first time around. It didn't work at all, but no faith. Change the strategy. Nero isn't a slouch on the Reaper, but we'll see. Much damage taken here so far from the Seoul Dynasty, but the charge can say the same. Eileen gonna get topped up, and the charge forced back from the choke point. Seoul Dynasty could be allowed to set up a point here on the actual goal of this map to get onto the A point, to get on that payload, on that cart. And now Jaehong with the Coalescence to beam his way through, and it's Eileen who goes down first here for the charge, and the Seoul Dynasty, they might be making it happen here. Hex is looking good. It's Shu and Char, the last 2 alive, and the quick take for the Seoul Dynasty. A victory for Seoul and a spot in the playoffs.
Well, the Seoul Dynasty have not looked like world beaters throughout the year, but we say it all the time. Peak at the right time. This meta seems like it suits them very well. It suits their pool. It suits what they want to do. You've got Jaehong and Toby coming back in. I'd be a little surprised, actually, if Seoul starts tinkering now. They've been tinkering with the roster all year. They had retirements. They had a whole starting 6 that they brought in during one match. And it never seemed like they had a plan or figured it out. Time to stick with your guys and see what happens here. A little valor for the vanquished, as always. The Guangzhou charge, what an impressive expansion year as a rookie campaign for these guys. A lot of really good players to watch going forward.
So many of them, but our Omen player of the match. The man who stood out the most, it is... That is definitely not, but that is Fitz.
Look, Fleta, it came up big when they needed him, and he was able to shut down the Bar and Mercy, and he had plays, but Fitz was consistently a monster on the ground in a game in which we thought Eileen would dominate. Eileen had his moments, but if you talk about the overall big, grand picture of things, Fitz had a better Doomfist. He just had a better Doomfist. Time and time again, especially that last map on Eichenwalde, to really just crush, to go through and get those 2Ks, 3Ks, and constantly, and they just couldn't stop him. A lot of credit has to go to Jae Hong to keeping him alive there, because, you know, Fitz is getting himself in situations. Jae Hong's like, I got you, I click stuff, I'm good. And Fitz had a breakout moment there, and so when you pair Fitz and Fleta together in this meta going, look, I think in this meta, if you don't have Doomfist, you're in trouble.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly, because otherwise nothing dies. I mean, sure, you got oddities like Hotba, right? Individual players who can make, you know, tanks shine and do damage. But you need to blow things up.
You can get by without a Pharah. I don't think you can get by right now without a Doomfist.
All right, so it's time for our Coke victory moment. Danny is ready with the interview.
Summonex, thank you very much. Everybody give it up for Michelle and Seoul Dynasty. They are moving up, going to the playoffs. All right, before I ask my first question, Michelle, I'm sorry. Marvel, how are you feeling right now? 지금 좀 기분 어떠신가요?
지금 너무 힘들긴 한데 기분이 너무 좋아요.
Very tired from the long match, but feeling really great of the win. Cool. All right, I do have to talk about Sigma. My whole post-match interview right now is all about Sigma. It's the newest hero. What is your favorite thing about Sigma? Sigma에 대해서 좀 제일 개인적으로 좋아하는 게 있다면 뭐가 있을까요, 마블 선수?
그 돌덩이? 그 스킬이 너무 좋아요. 저랑 딱 맞아요.
한국말로도 돌덩인가요?
돌덩이라고 하지 않나요?
모르겠네요. 네, 여러분들이 잘 도와주실 거라고 믿고요. Alright, Marvel says that he likes the quote-unquote boulder move, which is, I believe, called accretion. We both do not know what the Korean term for that is. Marvel is saying boulder. He loves the boulder move from Sigma. Alright, next match. Your next match is against the Vancouver Titans. What will it take for Seoul Dynasty to win over Vancouver Titans in your next match? 다음 경기 이제 밴쿠버 팀과의 경기가 있는데요. 좀 어떻게 하면 서울 다이너스티가 이길 수 있을까요?
저희가 이제까지 밴쿠버한테 좋은 성적은 못 냈는데 저희가 밴쿠버한테 당한 만큼 저희도 돌려주면 될 것 같아요.
So against Vancouver Titans, we've never really shown a good result in all of our matchups. So for our next match, we just have to return whatever we got from them in our previous matches. And do you believe you could win it tomorrow? 내일이 아니죠? Next time you guys play against Vancouver Titans, do you believe that you guys could defeat Vancouver Titans? 이길 수 있을까요?
이겨야죠, 무조건.
We will definitely win. Alrighty, Marvel, thank you so much. Now we have a special signed jersey. And Marvel is going to give it to our special Seoul Dynasty superfan, brought to you by Coca-Cola. 넘겨주세요. And why don't you give him a hug? 한번 폼 한번 해주면 어떨까요? All right, thank you so much, Marvel. Casters, back to you guys.
There you have our victory moment presented by Coca-Cola. Danny, as always, doing a fantastic job on the mic.
Yep.
And so we are going to be, well, seeing just how the Seoul Dynasty can fare. They've got a tough opponent coming up for them.
We're set. Those were the play-ins, so those were single elimination, you know, to try to give everybody a chance to get in. The two teams that came out on top are going to move into our 2019 playoff bracket. Double elimination, our Overwatch playoff presented by Activity. And there you see it. There's the bracket. Our teams, the Charge and Dynasty, were fighting for the honor to go against the #1 seed in the Titans. But you know what? You don't know what the Titans... It's a whole new ball game here somewhere.
I mean, all of those are going to be great, but there's one that in particular is going to be absolutely sick. Excelsior versus Spitfire.
Yeah, which New York
That's a
shows up.
sick
Again,
one.
we don't even know. We don't even know what some of these teams are running. We've seen a taste of our playoff meta,
It's
but
true.
you don't quite know yet.
It's true, Hex. You're not wrong there. We don't know what New York are capable of yet. Spitfire looks good, though. It's going to be a one match that I'm going to be looking forward to.
I know what our watch point desk is capable of, so make sure you stick around for watch point, and even after that, stick around for our all access Q&A. It's gonna be similar, and I'm gonna ask him some really embarrassing questions, and hopefully he will answer. Stick around, don't go anywhere. More Overwatch League action right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
And by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.